Hold on. You're live.
What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the mother-loving nation? You're tuning in to the CultPOP podcast live stream. Happy, good time, feel happy stuff. It's the Extreme CultPOP podcast. This is episode 8, but it's legacy numbering.
809.
A show where we will talk about, we're going to talk comics and some movies and TV and games and sex toys, maybe.
Maybe.
What's the stuff that you get when your bile rises in your throat?
Bile.
Acid reflux, maybe? Who knows what's going to come up? We don't, because we're not prepared. We're coming to
We
you
might
live.
do acid.
That's what's going to come
We're
up.
coming to you live from the MNYK Manium Studios, Philadelphia's most unique broadcast and video production space. Period. Our home. Away from home. ... Because we have nowhere else to go.
I got no reason.
I'm your super good at this host, Johnny Destructo of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex.
Straight title.
Located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's a super rad shop which caters to you, specifically you. You can call me JD. With me tonight are these nerds. It's a whole room full of them. Brian Lee.
Hey.
Hey. Friggin' Len the Bat Dribble.
What's up?
Noel Bartocci.
Hi.
I don't know. Hey, Terry, can we get you on the screen? Can the people see your
Have they seen?
lusciousness?
Oh, we've seen Terry before. That's right.
We can.
There he is. Look at that guy.
And they can even hear me now with a mic because I will not be silenced.
Your official name is Producer Terry.
Producer Terry. Oh, yes. Also joining us in the booth is Producer Terry. Say hi, Terry. No, you already did that. Shut up. So thank you, listeners. If you've made it this far, congrats. Whether you're watching live or checking it out later, if you dig what we're doing, please comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you know when we go live and do this nonsense. Additionally, we want you to engage with us, so get down in the chat and use your fingies to type letters into sentences so that we can read them and discuss with you. Speaking of listeners who pipe up, Christopher St. Saucy wrote us letters.
Like 14 letters.
14 letters.
Wow.
This one's called 2022 Top List, which is apropos of something, because today's episode, we're going to be bringing you our favorite of 2022. Each of us have picked a favorite, and then 2 runner-ups. We're going to be talking about movies, we're going to be talking about comic books, and we're going to be talking about television shows. Possibly some more things, like our favorite acid reflux. So he continues his email. I'm not going to give a number, but I'm going to give the highlights of the
Multiple
year.
have happened in order to facilitate my favorite of acid reflux.
Broccoli.
What is this?
Oh, I thought it was like
Oh,
individual
It
experiences.
just goes right into it.
I'd be
I'm
like,
not-
oh, June 15th.
I'm not going to give a number, but I'm going to give the highlights of the year of 2022. Top TV series,
Yes.
Tulsa King.
Oh,
Don't
on
know.
Paramount Plus. I see. There's no
Yeah.
formatting to this whatsoever.
Nope.
Single drunk female, freeform. High school Amazon?
High school Amazon.
Well, no, it's
Oh,
high,
he's the best.
high school
It's like-
Amazon freebie. That's actually a service.
And
Yeah.
Severance, Apple TV.
Before we go to his other stuff, other than Severance, has anyone watched any of these?
I haven't
I have-
seen a single one, and I don't think I've heard of
I was
most
going
of
to
them.
say, not only
Yeah.
have I not seen them,
Yeah.
I haven't heard
So
them.
I do
Tulsa
know.
King.
I've heard of Tulsa King.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've watched 2 episodes of Tulsa King.
What do you
That
think?
is all I need to watch of Tulsa King.
Okay.
Tulsa
It-
King
yeah,
is dumb.
Because
as
it's
shit.
so
Isn't it-
good. Oh, no.
Isn't it Sylvester Stallone just
Yes.
like being like dad energy on a like?
Exactly, dad energy, but he's also like a mob. It's stupid. It's
Some mob
I
dad.
think-
Sylvester Stallone in the mob?
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
Wow.
like the
Yeah.
head.
I have seen.
In the
I
show.
keep pointing at the screen just because. I do know that high school show on Amazon Freevee is based on Tegan and Sarah.
Oh,
Oh.
They wrote a book called High School, and it's a fictional.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I enjoy
I love
a
Tegan and Sarah.
handful of Tegan and Sarah songs.
I enjoy a handful of albums of
Yeah,
Tegan and
nice.
Sarah's. Yeah.
Slide.
Next,
There we go. I can't.
Spoiler alert.
top movies. Spoiler alert.
I don't know about that. Is he talking about our show?
It's
No.
down.
No.
It's fine.
There's a movie actually called
There's
Called
a movie
Spoiler
called
Alert.
Spoiler Alert.
Yeah,
Yes.
it looks very good.
Top Gun Maverick, Glass Onion, Smile,
Hmm.
Fall.
It's not a
Another
verbs.
movie I don't know.
Yeah.
Scream. It is a lot of verbs.
Spoiler alert: Top Gun, Glass Onion, Smile, Fall, Scream.
No, I hadn't seen that yet.
Honestly, I saw a lot of great movies this year. He says, worst movie I saw this year in theater was Duel. I'm sure it was intentionally bad because the actors involved are all good actors.
Hmm.
So they were going for camp, but it wasn't good camp. I also don't know Duel.
Duel,
I
I don't
do.
know either.
Tell us about it.
It is. It's with Karen Gillan and Aaron Paul. They.
Oh, the guy says bitch a lot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a society where if you know you're gonna die, you can get a clone of yourself in order to like ease the transition for your family. Karen Gillan gets a
Okay.
clone
That sounds
because she's
cool.
gonna die, but then it goes into remission. So when that happens
Cool.
and you're alive and your clone's alive, you have to fight to the death.
This sounds awesome.
It looked cool.
It
I'm
does.
sorry you didn't like it.
Mm.
And Aaron Paul is a trainer, and he
Oh.
trains her to
To
fight
fight
herself.
herself.
Yeah.
That sounds
Interesting.
cool. It sounds like that Will Smith where he fight himself.
Oh, I didn't see that, but it looks
Oh,
interesting.
It was
It
fun.
was,
It
it
Yeah.
was fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
Omega first one.
Slide.
I think that was it.
Gemini guy.
Gemini guy.
Gemini guy.
Albums downloaded this year: Love Sucks by Avril Lavigne, Holy Favuk by Demi Lovato,
Like
Midnight
Roman.
by Taylor Swift, and Everything to Everyone by Renee Rapp.
Don't
I've
even
heard
know
none
who
of
that
those.
is.
I never heard of.
Nope.
Yeah,
I-
or even
the-
the final artist.
Actually,
Midnight's
I did hear
is
the
good.
Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne, it's pretty solid.
Yeah?
If you still like Avril Lavigne's
Style.
shtick.
I like her as much as I did before,
Yeah, yeah.
which was fine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I never purposefully listened to one of her songs,
She
but
in
yeah,
case
we-
you didn't know, she disappeared for like a decade because of Lyme's disease.
no, I
believe.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Lyme's disease?
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah, she just couldn't
yeah,
stop sucking on
I
Lyme.
was going to say she's allergic to Lyme.
I think
Best
that's,
comic
Got
is
that allergy from a tick.
What is that, Ricketts?
Do a Power Bomb by Daniel Warren Johnson. I think that's enough, he says. Can't wait to hear your top of the list for 2022.
Sweet.
Well, you don't have to because we're about to do it.
But you have to wait for this amount of time.
Yeah.
While we prevaricate.
There we go.
Not prevaricate.
Tonight, we thought it would be fun to reflect on 2022.
Hold on, I'm interrupting. Don't comment every time
Uh,
something changes.
Nope.
You gotta just read it as it comes in.
Thank you.
What changed?
Nothing.
the screen.
Tonight, we thought it would be fun to reflect on 2022, he said while reading the screen. The good, the sad, and the rad,
Oh.
typed by Noel. Each of us are going to share our favorite movies, TV shows, and comic books, as well as some pop culture shakeups that happened this year.
Oh.
Let's start there, actually.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the stuff that's happened this year.
Cool.
So I did ask you guys to not only send me your, favorite movies, comics, and TV shows, but also the idea of a lot of shit happened in pop culture, geek pop culture, and randomly give me some of your stuff. And a lot of our responses overlapped with each other. I figured we'll go through a couple of them, express why you put it on the list, and or why it was important this past year, and or for 2023.
Cool.
The following are some of the most notable pop culture happenings of 2022.
We're gonna
According
find our
to us.
we're gonna find our rhythm. Everything's fine. Just keep rolling.
I am just going to list some of these off, and we can all talk about them.
Let's
Ready?
do that.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready?
Number one.
Number one.
Number one.
Every time. The slap.
That TV
I gotta
show
s-
from a few years ago.
yeah.
Marvel slap. Yeah, the Oscar slap from the very beginning of the year, from February.
Was that in
Wow,
February?
was that
February.
February?
Wow.
And I do
Jesus.
think it kind of matters. It was a little.
Yeah.
It was
No, it certainly does matter because what happened in the wake of that, you had comedians being rushed on stage.
Oh, really?
You
yeah,
had
Chappelle got rushed on stage.
all of a sudden
But-
it became a bigger thing, even though it was always a thing, with people kind of like, talking out of their neck at live performances, whether it be on Broadway or on
Wendell Pierce just had to deal with that.
Yeah,
shit.
Wendell Pierce had to
Yeah.
deal with that on stage. So it really became, and don't get me wrong, it was always the thing, but for the slap, which, in case you were living under a rock, was Will Smith at the Oscars going up and slapping comedian Chris Rock because he felt disrespected at a joke that he made at the expense of his wife. And it was
Jada Pinkett Smith.
right, Jada Pinkett Smith.
She has a name.
And it was clearly a joke. It was not like he wasn't being derogatory, but it was he felt some type of way.
I think the issue that I understood it as was Jada Pinkett Smith was very open and honest about a lot of the issues she was having with her hair. I guess she was losing it.
Yeah.
And he took kind of a low shot at it.
That's presuming he knew that.
Right.
That's presuming that
Right.
he knew that, and also it's presuming you see it as a low shot. I still don't think that he was taking a low shot. I think
he made a G.I. Jane joke.
He'd make a G.I. Jane
You're
joke.
ready for the next movie.
Very
Exactly.
topical. Very.
Okay.
Also,
Not a
dude,
day
the
goes
joke
by I
was-
don't talk about
the
that
joke
movie.
was hella cringe and lame too.
Yeah,
about like, hey, I'm gonna reference a movie from 25 years
Yeah,
ago.
exactly. It was
7 people saw it.
right, which made me think that it was more off the cuff, and it was just riffing as he was perusing the room. But nevertheless, the bigger issue was that Will Smith on national TV went up, slapped him across his face, and then audibly
Keep
cursed
my
him
name out
at
your
your
mouth.
motherfucking mouth.
Motherfucking man.
And that became
That song.
a big thing. Like he then subsequently was banned from the Oscars for 10 years and all this other stuff. But
And I think the movie that he was supposed to be coming out with got postponed.
it got pushed all the way back to now just December.
It just came out.
Emancipation.
Emancipation. I was like Proclamation. That's not it.
No.
Well,
Emancipation.
For
Part of it.
the
Yeah.
context of it too, like Will Smith, up until that point, America's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the baton
squeaky clean.
that Bill Cosby dropped
Yeah.
was picked up by Will
Yes,
Smith for the
yes,
last 2 decades, right?
Yeah, and he just totally destroyed. Threw it in the trash.
I don't like.
Unbelievable.
I think it all like for me it completely comes down. No matter what's going on in your life and or what happened there, you just don't in front of 75 million people. You just don't get up and smack a dude.
Yeah.
You just can't.
No,
right?
you can't. As simple as that.
So like no matter who deserved it and who you just can't do
And
that
and
in any job.
and as
You
egregious
just
as
can't
that, and
do
as,
that.
as egregious as that was, the other thing that made it worse is that he then returns to his seat and is there for the rest of the show.
Oh, he
Yeah.
immediately won an Oscar.
Because
right
then he
afterwards.
immediately wins the Oscar because
Yeah.
everybody was there to coordinate him because
Yeah.
it was
What
No.
was the movie?
King
King
that he
Richard.
won for he
Oh, I
won
didn't
for
see
King
that yet.
Richard.
Had he won an Oscar before?
No,
No?
he hadn't.
So this was
I think he had
Oh,
been
that's
nominated,
brutal.
but he had never.
And just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
context of it was just this giant avalanche of what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it,
I gotta
threw
say,
the
as a
Patreon up for that.
lifelong. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Terry. What?
I said I threw the Patreon up when we were having a discussion about that.
Thank
yes,
you. As a lifelong Will Smith, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Big Willie style super fan. I have
Millennium also.
Millennium. I
Okay.
have all the albums in
Mm.
multiple copies. I know all the words. I freaking love them. Kind of disappointing for me. And
That's
also
fair.
just to know that like he worked so hard to maintain and one night just in like 5 minutes, just boop, gone. All of
Yeah.
it gone. It
yeah.
was a bummer.
Does anybody hold any kind of like extra ire for him still? Like
No.
he's apologized. Seems
Yeah,
fine.
I mean, I'm over it.
Yeah.
I didn't get slapped in
The
public.
guy who he slapped seems
Yeah.
to have,
I mean, he's
you
fine.
know,
He's
for-
moved-
then
he's
he's
moved
the
on.
guy that,
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be on his next.
Like what can we do
Special.
if you can never
I
make it better? You
Right.
know what I mean?
Right.
Like how can we live? How can
Well,
we go
so,
forward in life?
agree, but there are some celebrities and or public figures who do not deserve a second chance. When it comes to this, I'd like it's
Yeah.
he had a bad night.
He had a
He
bad
didn't
night.
Weinstein anybody.
Yeah,
No.
he didn't go on like an anti-Semitic rant.
Yeah.
He did not multiple times.
multiple times
Yeah.
drunk in front of the cops.
The other thing, we're going to move on to the other thing, the MCU into the multiverse. So basically, we have a brand new phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's dealing with just the multiverse,
Mm-hmm.
which I've always been a huge fan of the multiverse.
I love the multiverse.
Big fan.
Love
so
it.
I love that it's in the.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wasn't in the lexicon before, but it is certainly in the zeitgeist currently.
Yeah.
To have a multiversal story, as
Yes.
we will get to in one of my personal favorites of the week
Oh.
later on.
And just in the way that the Matrix made people aware of the idea that maybe none of this is real,
Yeah.
and it was just like, oh yeah, like in the Matrix.
Yeah.
Maybe this will do a little bit of that for the multiverse,
Mhm.
right? And it's just
I
like,
think
oh yeah, alternate possible realities can exist. Now, do you guys know
Oh no.
the? Oh well, you're about to find out. The lead singer of the Eels, his father, something Everett,
Everyone take a drink.
created or first proposed the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics, the multiverse theory.
The Eels Papa?
Yeah.
Daddy Eel? I didn't know that.
That's his name, Daddy Eel, and that's
Papa
why they
Eel?
called the band the
Oh,
Eels.
I
That
also-
was the fun fact.
So like it's kind of funny, like every new phase of like the MCU, or I guess just every like new iteration of it, we've been reading comics for 400 years.
Yeah,
So-
basically. Give or take.
Yeah.
Plus or
minutes.
minus 400 years.
The
So
Bayeux
we're
Tapestry
already used
is
to
the-
these like ridiculous concepts of
Yeah.
just stupidity, but taken at a serious level to the point where you're just like invested in a soap opera style. And every time something like this happens, where it just like becomes accepted in the lexicon
Yeah.
or by like normies who just
Mhm.
like Spider-Man, I just find it really funny.
Mhm.
Like it's like it's in an odd way it validates like 9-year-old Noel, but then another way it's just like I told you it's cool.
Things like Arnim Zola
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Right.
upcoming MODOK.
yeah.
Like I can't wait for everyone to know who MODOK is.
There's gonna be a small contingent of people like bitching because it's not
The exact
MODOK
design.
He's got like a whole
But-
metal face, right? He's not just like a big
I
head.
don't know.
Yeah.
tiny arms.
But still,
Little
it's like
tiny arms. What's his
it's-
deal? What is
it's just
he?
funny.
I love MODOK.
They made Thanos work. They made magic rocks that can
Mhm.
change all of reality.
There's also a
work.
giant starfish in a different universes movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
I just-
lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost it.
I love that they're making
Was
these
that movie
incredibly
this- no.
silly things. Yeah, actually, that should.
Oh, that was this year?
that should have been on my thing.
Oh, I didn't think about that either.
Was that this
Suicide
year?
Squad.
I thought that was last-
No, August.
2021.
Oh, wait.
It was.
This is
2021. You're right, guys.
It was 2021.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You're right.
It was the
Cool,
end of
cool,
2021.
Suicide Squad. James
The
Gunn. Suicide
Suicide-
Squad is
The
what
Suicide
Yeah.
Squad.
we're
I think-
murmuring about.
I think it is cool that the Marvel MCU has kind of like embraced the multiverse and everything. Even though there's an argument to be made, as I think about it, that it really was introduced and accepted in the MCU last year with
Oh.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Well, and
In
Loki,
Dec-
I would
and
venture.
Loki in
Yeah,
December. In December, so it's kind of like
Well, I think
Really close.
Into the Spider-Verse introduced the idea of multiple.
Multiverse.
Oh, you're saying we
multiverse
shouldn't be
before.
talking about it now?
But it came out in December of 2021. So like,
No, what I'm saying is I
The
said last
conversation.
year. Well, okay,
2021.
2 years ago. I forget we're in 2023.
oh
Yeah, I did it a couple
no.
times.
What I'm saying is that it happened at the end of 2021 to like almost matter more in 2022 to just be validated by Doctor.
But you're saying Loki at the end of 2021.
No,
I said Loki.
he said Loki.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
But I stand
But
by.
that was like that. The Loki bit though was so contained.
True.
It didn't
Very
feel,
true.
and who like not everyone was watching.
And I
Sure,
and
sure.
I
It
still
wasn't
would,
one of the
and I
movies,
still would
so-
argue that
Yeah.
Loki works because it was still introduced by Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But
Oh,
if you
into the
wanna-
Spider-Verse.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, okay. I
Into
thought you were
the
talking
Spi-
about the.
No, Into the Spider-Verse introduced a whole
Yeah.
idea of the multiverse.
Hmm.
But I would also argue that going even further back,
Yeah.
away from Marvel, away from DC,
Yeah.
and away from
Away
any genre, that the idea of multiversities was introduced in Groundhog Day.
Oh.
Groundhog Day?
I thought you were gonna say multiversity.
Mul-
No,
Multiverse.
because that's just multiple people.
That's my pet peeve,
Groundhog
Steve.
Day?
No, Groundhog
No.
Day. I don't see that as a multiverse thing. He was reliving one
and
day.
even,
But
even
because-
if those
He's
even
right,
those are
though.
all universes,
He's got a good point.
they did not
Well,
interact with each other.
I don't
Yeah,
think those were
true.
all
But I'm
universes.
thinking that just the
Even if
idea
they're
of it.
Oh, sure, sure.
The idea,
Yeah.
the breaking down of the wall began with.
Yeah.
So I
How
think
about
that's a good
the
point.
Nicolas Cage movie Family Man, which I just rewatched and is a fun movie, where he experiences alternate reality or Destiny Man. Mr.
Wait a
Destiny.
minute.
Stop!
Yeah.
Everyone
Wait a minute.
stop!
Yes.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Everyone stop!
Thank you,
You're
JD.
right. You're right.
Everyone
It's a
stop.
wonderful
Yeah.
life.
The concept of alternate realities and multiverses is not brand new to this year. Just the idea that a juggernaut that is MCU
It's true.
/ Disney
Bringing it
bringing
into the
it to the
mainstream.
forefront
Yes.
of their entire
They
creative
Disneyfied
endeavor.
it.
The
in
And
the
nobody
next 5
thinks
years
of
is a big deal.
nobody thinks of It's a Wonderful Life or any of those other things. We can argue that they qualify,
It's
But
not.
but nobody saw It's a Wonderful Life and it was like,
Multiverse.
what if every decision I make spawns another reality?
The next thing is oldest known depiction of progressing narrative art is discovered.
Yeah.
You go ahead and explain this real
So
It's just definitely
It's
all
definitely Brian.
Brian.
this was me. I put this in. Now, I will confess. I looked up. I was like, "What was some kind of archaeological thing that was discovered this year?" Right? So,
The first book of the Bible. Go ahead.
no, that was. We already have that. No, this was the oldest known depiction of narrative art, which I thought was particularly germane to our show here. It was 2 panels, and one I forget. The guy was like in amongst some lizards or something like that, and I was not. The articles were not long, and I wasn't really clear as to how this was progressive art.
Mhm.
The other one was a man surrounded by leopards holding his penis,
Oh.
and they wanted to tell that story.
So
wait a
the
minute.
first
Wait a minute.
okay,
The first
here-
panel is what?
Here, hold on.
It's
Hold
like
on.
a guy with some
May I-
lizards.
May I?
Yes,
may
please,
I,
please.
Cliff notes this. So they found the first evidence of progressive narrative storytelling, and what it was
Yeah.
a man holding his pee-pee, surrounded by leopards.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the first story
Tale as old
that
as
they
time.
found was basically aggressive /
Like a
pornography.
bestiality thing.
Yeah, potentially pornography.
But is that
Potentially-
necessarily pornography?
No, I think he was
No,
probably.
I'm just saying, like, whatever the impetus of it was, it's just very funny that it is
He was holding.
Wait,
guy holding his pee-pee. Not even
okay.
just naked guy.
How was this picture
Holding his
depicted, and
pee-pee.
where was this found?
Well, when I found, I
Oh,
don't know.
that's a good question, Len. I forget where it was found. Somewhere
Is
where
it
we've been for a while.
hieroglyphic?
I'm
No, it's
yeah,
like a picture, like a
So it's a
older.
tool.
It's like Neolithic era, like cave drawing kind of style, but chiseled into a rock.
Like
Doesn't
those-
that make it a hieroglyphic?
like these pecs.
No, those are
Well, no, I
particular
guess
symbols.
not
Yeah.
technically. It. Okay.
Either way, thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And next,
Yes.
David Tennant returns to Dr. Whomst.
Yes.
almost a 2023 thing, but it's still kind of cool.
Yeah, that's.
Well, but it happened this year.
Yeah,
Did it?
Yeah.
No, it didn't
Yeah.
happen at the end of
for
2022.
like 2 seconds.
right?
But I mean that always counts as the first appearance of the next Doctor, right? Is the regeneration is a big part of like.
But
like
is
what's
that
happening.
really a big thing?
I-
It is for who heads, man.
I put it
The
in
fact
there.
that, like, it's never happened before.
No,
in-
the return of a Doctor as the Doctor.
as a new
Oh, okay.
doctor.
Wait,
Yeah,
he's the new. Wait, what?
he is the
He's
next.
a new doctor?
Yeah.
Yes,
He's
he is
technically
14.
14th.
Yes.
How? Never
Well,
mind.
that's what he wants
Even
to
though,
know.
even though he's not actually going to be the one that's going to be in the new.
No,
that's
so
gonna be a black
Shuri has already been cast and is the 15th Doctor.
guy. Right.
My guess is like something went a little wonky with the regeneration. He, for some reason, because he doesn't know
During-
what's happening
During
either.
the 50th
Yeah.
anniversary episode, the
Yeah.
theatrical episode, though,
Yeah.
they did introduce the idea that the Doctor sometimes revisits old
Yes.
faces
Yes.
for specific purposes.
I see.
So they, knowing like what they do is they will announce who the new Doctor is, and then you'll see them regenerate as the new Doctor at the end. And then there was a big old swerve, and it was David Tennant again for no reason that's just like explained. And then he is the official 14th Doctor.
But
His
he's
tenure-
very surprised as well. He's
Yeah.
like, what's going on?
I
And
know
Shuri is in the trailer for the next one. So I think there's
His
like
tenure's
something's up.
only going to be like an episode.
It's 3 episodes. It's 3
Three
specials. And then,
There you go.
Yeah.
But
That's
still,
interesting.
it's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Is he considered?
Yeah.
Okay.
He is considered. He is considered often.
Is he considered like the
modern.
best or favorite
In
of
many
the-
people's opinions, some people say Matt Smith. For me, David Tennant is, it's like he's the gold standard, even though he wasn't the first one I
The
started
answer to
with.
that question is usually the one that you
You
started
did-
with and or have spent the most formative time with. So Eccleston only had like
He
a
had one season. I never watched Doctor Who. David Tennant came on. I'm like, who's this? Who's this chucklehead? And then
Who's
he
this doctor?
right.
So it is your first Doctor.
No, Christopher Eccleston was my first Doctor, and then David Tennant came on, and I
And
was
he
like,
was like, "Who's this?"
who's this? And
He's
then
like, you
David
were
Tennant
watching
like
He killed
It's-
it.
ran with it.
It's usually
yeah.
it's usually the person that is introduced, like the Doctor that's introduced to. However, David Tennant had the longest tenure up until Matt Smith, and the modern era of Doctor Who, he had spent the most time as the Doctor. So just I think
Okay.
he
Yeah.
is.
He's
Probably,
kind of like the face,
the
and
face
Matt
of
Smith
Who.
seems like the next guy who was also really
I love
awesome.
Matt Smith.
But yeah,
my modern favorite's probably Capaldi though, because I
Really?
love the old ornery guy.
all right.
I don't think his episodes were on par with
Yeah.
the other ones, but he was my favorite. I just liked
Interesting.
an old
Interesting.
grizzled.
So is
angry.
my Doctor Who? Not that I was ever into Doctor Who, but
Mhm.
when I was introduced to Doctor Who, it was the curly hair guy.
Yeah,
Tall.
Tom Baker. Yeah,
Tom
yeah.
Baker.
So is he no longer considered?
He's
like-
the fourth Doctor.
He is.
Oh, is he no longer considered the preeminent?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well,
It depends
not-
on the
not
age
new
of.
generation.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but if it was like a maybe social imprint across all generations,
Mhm.
it probably would be
Pretty
long
high.
scarf, jelly babies, Tom Baker.
Let's put it this way: that's a mark of David Tennant's stature. Is that's a question at all? That it's like, ooh, David Tennant might be the guy now.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's the one I
Yeah.
think of when I.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Though I'm not a big. I've only watched several episodes.
yeah, yeah.
Also, James Gunn and Peter Safran, named the co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Films, start scorching earth to implement an 8 to 10 year plan which I've heard they're going to be basing thematically around the Justice League cartoon, which they are now going to be taking off of HBO Max, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
Oh, I watched that holiday
Inspiring.
episode around Christmas time this year. We talked about it and I watched it. Oh man, it holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also seen James Gunn personally respond to a lot of
Yeah, I like it.
supposed rumors, and he's like,
Nope.
Oh, no.
not that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Never mind.
yeah.
Oh, he does stuff like that all the time. Like people will. The discourse around this is so goddamn annoying, but
Well, the Snyder Bros.
that's a large part of the discourse. But they'll literally tag him constantly on Twitter about like, is this true? Is this true, James Gunn? And he'll jump in. He'll be like, not entirely.
Yeah,
Little
could
piece
be.
of it.
Yeah,
Haven't decided yet. Absolutely not.
That's kind
Like
of cool.
he
Yeah.
will just like
Mhm.
2-3 word say
Yeah.
things, and I love it.
That's fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that's actually a big thing because I actually find myself being a fan more of a lot of the stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff that he's
I
done.
agree.
and I don't think he has to do things in a fully jokey
No,
or subversive way. Like, I don't think he's going to take Superman and make it like Peacemaker.
even
know
though
what
to
I
be
mean?
fair, as I sit and think about it, sorry to cut you off, I don't know, have I seen him do anything that didn't have the tongue in the cheek?
I can't think of anything.
I don't know.
Because what was his
So
super?
I don't know if tongue in
Yeah.
cheek is right. I think it's more because tongue in cheek implies that it's satirical or overly self aware. He always makes stuff that like main characters cope with humor.
Yeah.
He doesn't make
Yeah.
jokey movies. He makes movies that have jokey people or awkward people in them.
Okay, yeah, but they definitely still have a bit of a quirk to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, something that might not be appropriate for the DC movie universe as a whole, like Superman or Green Lantern, should not.
Right.
I
Have
don't know,
that. But I don't.
But
I
that
don't
doesn't
get
mean
the
that he
sense that
could.
he'll do
It
that.
got to be. Remember, he's not making the movie, so it doesn't
Right.
mean that he can't put.
Well,
the
he is
people in
writing
place.
Superman.
Right.
He's writing Superman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, no, good.
No, yeah, I heard that he's writing Superman, and I actually don't mind that.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's a one-trick pony.
Yeah, I
Like the
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
like this is, let's say we'll apply it to Snyder. We've seen 10 of his movies.
You've seen enough of them
and
that
they
it seems
are-
like
literally the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Whereas Gunn is more of a baseline with variations of the baseline.
there
You've
definitely
got-
is
you've got
variations.
Super, Slither,
Mhm.
Suicide Squad. Like
but always supernatural.
often. Yeah,
Pretty much always supernatural, with
That's
the exception
cool.
of Super, which was about a vigilante.
that was great.
Right.
Counts for
I
these
love
purposes. Yeah.
But
But
there's
yeah.
one scene in that movie that still sticks in it lives in my head rent free. Someone gets their face blown off.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I
yeah,
know
that's
exactly what scene you're talking
That's
about. Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I-
see it coming.
And
I
you don't see it,
so-
and it hits that much harder because of
Hmm.
that. Yes, yes.
I so want everything that happens with Marvel movies. I'm like, this is awesome, man. If it was DC, ooh, and I really want somebody at the helm of DC that can steer a whole ship, and I'm hoping that James Gunn can and will be doing that in a cool way.
Well,
you
also
know?
it's two of them, right? It's him and
Sure, Peter Safran, who's probably just as involved, he's just not famous. and
He's
so
on
we
the
don't talk
business
about
that
side.
it.
is.
He's
Right.
like
Well,
making sure that the
he's
He works with him all the time, apparently.
He's a very prominent producer.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I also too. They don't have bosses.
Hmm.
They are the heads of
Hmm.
DC films.
Well, they obviously
Well-
don't have bosses. They told The Rock to sit down.
I know.
Hmm.
They
Thank
do not. like,
God.
they report.
Yes.
They report like tangentially to Zaslav.
Mhm.
No one else. So like, I love again a part of the discourse is like everyone's upset and they don't trust James Gunn and his decisions and they're gonna fire him and it's like, who's gonna fucking fire him?
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
like they're gonna fire Kathleen Kennedy.
He has a 4-year contract to do whatever the hell he wants,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, it's probably going to be successful.
And there's probably some like amount of money clause, and if he makes that amount of money, I'm gonna say probably. Like I have
Yeah.
any idea
Yeah.
how Hollywood
How this
contracts
works?
work.
Yeah.
Right, right.
I've wanted them to cohesively change up the DC
Same.
films for a very long time now, so I'm cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Christopher Goodnight is in the chat saying Capaldi had a handful of great episodes, talking about Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
He had better Christmas episodes for sure.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Is
there's
that
a lot
true?
of- there's
Would
a
you
lot
say
of
that's
great-
true?
Better than his
Sure.
other episodes or other Christmas episodes? I don't know.
Is it better than the Simpsons Christmas
Of
episode?
any,
Yeah.
no, Doctor Who traditionally does an
Yeah.
episode released on Christmas Day.
Never ask follow-up questions in the chat to Chris because, like, in 10 minutes you'll get
The
a
answer.
half of an answer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's all right.
Yes.
Now, speaking of that, could I real quick just get this off my chest? I don't think that narrative thing was pornography. I bet it was like a power kind of symbol.
we're going
Did you
back
see
to
that?
I mean,
Yeah.
we are.
It's been.
that's less funny, but yeah. you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
You're
it is
right.
less funny, but it's interesting. yeah.
All right. We are here to talk about our favorite things of 2022. We are going to start with movies at the top of the list. We're going to go through person by person.
Okay.
You're going to give us your favorite movie.
Do you want to do runners up and favorite or favorite and runners up?
Build
Ooh,
up to the
Let's
favorite.
build up to
Yes.
the favorite.
So do your runners up and
Okay.
then favorite.
Here we go.
Yeah, but don't go deep.
No,
Okay.
no. Surface level.
So- Yes.
I liked the Batman.
The Batman.
The Batman.
I also enjoyed it.
Did you?
To an extent.
I'll tell you what. It was probably my favorite Batman movie.
Nope.
It was.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
yeah. No,
Do
probably.
you not agree that he thinks it's his?
Yeah.
No, your opinion is mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard, but I thought it nailed the character of Batman. He was a detective in that movie, which was awesome. It was a beautifully shot and interesting
Gorgeous movie.
movie to watch,
It was gorgeous.
and was good in a way that superhero movies are not always good. It was
Mhm.
like, if I had never heard of Batman before, I think I still would have liked this movie.
Mhm.
You know,
in fact, if I
yeah.
had never seen a Batman movie, I would have liked this movie better.
yeah. The other ones tainted you to the character of Batman.
That's such
Yeah, like,
such a
wait,
weird-
a man dressed as a bat?
That's such a weird backwards compliment. Had I never known any of the IP that is ever tied to it, I might have liked
I
it.
might have liked it.
Yeah, it's such.
No,
and it was
so
so long,
Thank you.
and
I'm sorry, Brian.
yes, from
Walk
from
over
that
your shit. I'm
from
sorry.
that opening shot
That's the laugh
of like
Brian was expecting from the previous segment.
Yes, yes.
Sorry.
from that opening shot with the classical music playing,
Mhm.
it sets this cerebral, like
Don't go,
noir tone, and I
don't go
loved
too
it.
hard. It might show up again later on this list, and these are just your runners up.
Yes,
my
yes.
goodness.
So
Yes.
tell us about Confess.
That would
Flesh.
mean it
Let's
was
move-
somebody else's favorite.
Let's move on.
Tell us
Okay.
about Confess Flesh.
Confess Fletch, a real dark horse candidate, right? I was like,
Mhm.
what would
It's a
be
black horse.
Yeah, it's the darkest of horses. And I
Can't see it at
fucking
night.
loved it, right? Like, it's just this solid movie that by the time I got to, it's a mystery. By the time I got to when
Why
they
you
were,
like it?
I love a good mystery. And
But
they get to the part where they're going to solve it.
that's-
And I was like, oh, that means this movie's over soon.
Yeah.
That sucks. Like,
Mm.
I really wanted to watch more of this
I
movie.
was soaking in it.
Because
And then
yeah,
it
because
goes
there's
on.
twists
You
and
saw it?
turns, and there's like twists and turns, and it's like, oh, this is probably the last one, right? But it's just this like low key, solid, enjoyable movie where it's just a number of things that happen that all progress in this fluid, fun way.
The impression.
Yeah.
So I have a copy of it. I'm gonna watch it soon. I really
Okay.
really want to.
Me too.
The impression I got from the movie was that it's an exercise in watching people be good at what they do,
Yeah,
which is its own kind of entertainment.
it
Oh,
is fun.
sure.
He
Like a
is
journalist
great at
Being good
his
at what he
thing.
does.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
watching people be skillful is its own level of
it is
enjoyment.
competence point.
That's competence point.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow,
it's
yeah.
the same reason why people watch
didn't
cooking
come up with
shows.
I was
It's
about
the
to
same-
bring that up.
Like you want to see people excel. It's the same reason why you watch Shark Tank.
Mm.
You want to see it's
He's
seeing
got a
these, like-
whiteboard
we'll
Doesn't
talk about it
have a word.
someday.
about the Shark
And
Tank.
Next Generation, that's one thing I love about that. They're like the 7 best. You know what I mean? I love watching people be good at things.
What's your most favoriteest
Of
2022?
that's
Oh, I
right,
thought we were doing all
Oh, I
our
thought we were
Oh, you
all
wanna do
doing
Yeah, I
runner
thought we were
up.
all
And
doing
then
it.
go
Okay.
favorite.
That's even
Yeah,
better.
So
Yes.
Joel, my question to you is,
Yeah.
what are your runner-ups for the movie section?
Well, I've got 3 here, but 2 are tied. Okay. The first runner-up is Top Gun Maverick.
Mm.
So you got 3 runners up.
Well, no, kind of. Glass Onion and Scream
So
5
you
are
got
tied.
4
Hold on.
movies.
Yeah, 4 total. Yeah.
Len, what was your 5th movie?
It was actually his 5th movie was Batman. So Top Gun Maverick was one of the most impressive movies I've seen this year on like a technical level and a storytelling level.
Okay.
It is just so damn solid. It's mind blowing. I did not care to see this movie.
Okay.
I have absolutely no like affection for Top Gun.
Okay.
I saw it when I
the
was
original.
Like, I saw it when I was like 9.
Oh, okay.
I was like, cool, and then literally never thought about it. It's never been a part of my personality.
Mm-hmm.
But this movie is so good.
Interesting.
Did it make you go back and appreciate Top Gun?
No.
Okay.
Did you watch it again and you were like, this sucks?
I did watch it again and I was just like, oh, this is a solid 80s movie. That's fine. But something that this movie does that was incredibly impressive. Modern action movies are a mess of cuts and craziness, and you have to track and you don't know what's happening. The entire movie is one mission, and they reiterate the mission and how impossible it is. Every single act in multiple different ways. The whole plot of the movie is like, hey, Maverick, we need you to help these kids figure out how to do this thing that's impossible. And then they walk them through it with an animatic. And then he's literally training them to do it up to the point where they have to do it. So by the time you get to the final act, you know exactly what's going on. You know how hard it is. You know what they all have to achieve. And you're just like on the edge of your seat.
Are they going to do it?
It was
I
an
bet they do.
incredibly impressive
Yeah, I think they do.
film.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard that it's like one of the best heist movies.
Essentially.
Oh, it's a heist?
It's a heist
Well,
with
you
jet
can consider
planes?
it that way. It's
Yeah.
like 4 jets have to like do 3 impossible things in at an angle that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And
Who's
it
the other
is a
jet team?
heist movie. And like the whole like the crux of the whole second act is there are 18 students and only 4 of them are a part of the mission.
Yeah.
And it's wild.
Yeah, can't wait to watch
super
it.
good.
It's on my list of things. It was not. Let me clarify. It was not on my list of things to watch until everyone told me how to put it on my list of things to watch.
Yeah.
So really quick, my next runner-up is a tie between Glass Onion and Scream 5.
Ah,
Interesting.
All right.
And I connect them with Rian Johnson.
Go on.
Did he direct Scream 5?
No, but he is,
No.
but he is a large part of the plot tangentially.
Interesting.
Oh my God, that's true. He is.
Both of these movies were subversive in ways that I did not expect,
Uh-huh.
and I think that they were incredibly successful. Kind of in one was like Eat the Rich satire, and the other one was fans sometimes make shit worse.
Yeah, toxic fan.
And both of those are incredible conversations that are happening right now, and both these movies kind of tackle them in incredibly fun ways. So they were tied for my runner-up.
Interesting.
Robert Monroe's in the chat saying, I saw Top Gun for the first time last year and didn't see what the big deal was. I tried to watch Top Gun for the first time a couple years ago and made it halfway through and gave up. So
It's
I
up in
understand.
Some things you have to
It's
see.
absolutely of an
It's of
era.
its time.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all the runners-up for
What
Noel. Len, what do you got runners-up? Movies.
Runners up in the movies category. Well, one is, I think, a little known or little seen animated film from Netflix called The Sea Beast, which is all about like these like monsters, Godzilla, like, kaijus, who kind of wreak havoc on this kind of like European town back in like the 18 somethings or whatever the hell. But it's animated, like computer animated, and it's all about how they are misunderstood by the populace. And this one little girl and this wayward like sea captain are the ones that bring the reality home to the people. It's action packed. The set pieces are fantastic. It draws you in immediately. The voice acting is incredible. The animation, of course, is top notch, almost Pixar-ish. And there's very few computer animated that rivals Pixar, but this definitely rivals it. And it really just like snuck up on me. I turned it on one Sunday morning while I was eating my breakfast, and I was like, I'll watch this a couple of minutes and then I'll be done. I sat there and I just enjoyed it. I called my friends. And I was like, yo, y'all got to see CB. So like, put your little girl in front of the CB. Well, she's not home. Well, then you watch it, damn it.
I didn't get a call.
Yeah,
Sorry.
me neither.
Well, okay.
I know, he said friends. He
Yeah.
said friends. Come on.
Not co-hosts.
I
Know your slot.
I said that it was going to be. But
We're in bitchy face tonight.
yeah, you are. So yeah, it's just really a great movie. And then the other one runner up that I want to shout out is The Woman King. The Woman King is a film from probably like the fall, I guess, like or end of the summer.
Yeah.
Which is let's call it like historical fiction, because it looks at this African warrior tribe of women who were basically the protectors of this country back in Africa. That seems to be, from what people know, as a historical fact, but a lot of the stories, you got to fill in the gaps.
What era are we talking about?
And we're talking about in the days of slavery. So this country was actually at the time, we believe, involved in the slave trade.
Oh, okay.
And this is the story of these warriors, and also this country kind of reconciling in real time with being involved with the slave trade. A lot of that is still historical fiction. So that's because it's set there. That's where the conversation and the story lies. But in there, you are introduced to these fantastic women, and this film that is directed by a Black woman as well. And the action of this movie is nonstop, and it's action the way you want it, because it's not, to your point, no, it's not quick cuts.
Yeah,
it's long takes of these women doing badass shit, man.
Let me
left
just hop
and
in there
right.
for a minute.
in
It's
this movie.
Gina Price.
Gina Price Bythewood is the director.
it's Old Guard.
Yes,
great.
the
Yeah,
Old Guard.
she's
This
great.
is her action follow up to the Old Guard. It stars Viola Davis, LaShawn Lynch. It is fantastic. Jonathan Majors is in it. Not Jonathan Majors.
Finn.
Yeah, Finn.
John Boyega.
John Boyega. But
He's
he's
a
not
thin version of
action.
Jonathan
He's
Majors.
not doing.
Yeah.
He's not doing action. He's kind of like the king of this country.
Finn from Star Wars.
Oh, Finn.
It's a fantastic
Finn
movie. And it was very close to it's definitely one of my top 5, but my runner up for best of 2022.
Right on. My runners up are as such Barbarian, which is a horror movie that I did not see coming. If you haven't seen Barbarian yet and you like horror films, do what I did, which is go in blind, just gouge your eyes out, go in screaming and bloody,
Really?
And just
It's like a
listen
5D experience
can-
for the other people.
You can do this from home now, though. You don't
That's
have to
true.
go anywhere with your eyes bludgeoned.
But I went and just saw it in the theater because everyone said just go and don't look at any trailers. I did not watch any trailers. I had no idea who was in the movie. I had no idea what it was about. Other than, I will say, it is about what happens when two people accidentally book the same Airbnb.
Oh, I'm sure it goes well.
Everything is great.
I'm assuming it's also what commonly happens when two people book.
Sure.
Every single time two people have
I think
done
the
the same
B
Airbnb.
stands for barbarian,
This movie was
right? An Airbnb.
Air Barbarian.
Yeah, it's two barbarians.
This movie was cool in a way that it doesn't you don't know what's happening, but it keeps escalating and upping itself.
Yep.
It's like 3 different movies in one. And
It's
it
great.
was great.
Yeah.
I've also never seen a movie have that much fun with a social issue without completely going into it.
Yep.
Digging deep into it.
Yep. 100%. So that's one of my runners up. My other runner up, also big dumb fun, Bullet Train. This was a movie that I didn't even hear of coming out. It just wound up on Netflix. I don't even know if it hit theaters.
Yes, it did. It did hit theaters.
So it came and went. I had no idea. I saw it on Netflix or whatever the streaming service was, and it was fantastic. It's got a stunning cast. The acting is really, really fun. Everyone feels like they're having fun being in the movie, which I always really appreciate and always amps up my appreciation of what I'm watching. It just seemed like everyone was there having a blast. It's based on a novel. I haven't read it, but I'm curious to. Yeah, it's a Japanese.
Can I don't know.
Okay, good.
No, it makes sense.
I want to Terry says that we have to have more friction on the show.
Oh,
Fuck
fight
you.
me.
I didn't.
Wait. I got a little friction, which is Christopher Goodnight keeps agreeing and then disagreeing with us. He did not like Barbarian,
Ah,
Good for you, bud.
Sounds
but
like-
All right.
we're on this topic now.
I Bullet Train. I agree with most of what you said, except that I didn't really care for it all that much at the end of the day.
Oh shit.
I thought it was fun as hell, but it was a half hour too long.
It is a
and
little
was
long.
It was too up its own butt.
I was up that butt with him.
Like they used the same narrative device like 80 times,
Yep.
and it's good after the first 20.
And then good
It-
after the 80s.
Cool.
I started getting
gonna go with
frustrated
that
with the movie.
I did
I
not.
kind of feel the same way.
Mm.
as
Like when the
Noel.
water bottle gets its own like
Flashback.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
That was.
But at
it
that
Oh, that
going
sounds like
past-
fun.
But at
That
that
was
point,
going past funny into not funny into funny again.
Yeah.
I didn't
Okay.
get
Sometimes
to
it
funny
does
again
happen.
because there
Yeah,
was
yeah.
another 20 minutes of the movie left.
Yeah.
It
I
was a
gotta watch this
marathon.
movie.
It's
I-
great.
We were about to watch it. We were talking about like what should we watch, and I forget why we didn't, but it's like
I
near
also-
the top of the list there.
It was also like 17 plots.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
something like that happening in a early Guy Ritchie movie, I'm down with because
Oh,
it's
it is very Guy Ritchie.
it's-
isn't it?
Oh,
it's
Lock,
it's
Stock,
a,
and Two
it's a
Smoking
little bit
Barrels?
more it's
Come
more
on, that's great.
it's a little grittier, it's a little bit more focused, even though it's multiple things. This was just like 12 different directors being cute with themselves.
Yeah.
And I got bored with it.
Fair enough.
I feel you. Like I feel you.
Robert Monroe Jr. in the chat says, "My daughter and I saw Bullet Train in the cinema. Lots of fun." And Christopher Goodnight says, "Bullet Train was great."
Excellent.
Yeah, but Christopher didn't like Barbarian, so it's
It crosses each other out,
Yeah.
right? So those are my two runners up. Should we go through? I'm going to say yes. We're going to go
Yeah.
give our number ones in the movie section.
I think we should. do
Brian,
it.
why don't you start us off with your number one
I'll tell you what.
of the year?
We could just alternate words. I bet.
Okay.
Everything.
Everywhere.
All
and
what?
the movie.
Oh yeah, that was a movie.
And the audience is deaf.
Well, it depends on the volume they have their
That's
device set to.
They want everyone I know watches it on mute. So
Yeah.
it's just beef in the algorithm. I don't even care if you listen, it's fine.
So we didn't do that only for fun. It is
Yeah.
both of our number one pick.
True.
Oh,
I thought it was great. I love it. It was a big multiverse thing, as you mentioned, and it really explored. It was a small part of it, but it explored the idea that like even things that would seem silly,
Mhm.
the multiverse does not care if in this universe you think that's silly.
Mm.
It exists.
Yeah.
You know. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a beautiful story. And I really enjoyed both the emotional weight of it and also the multiversal exploration and that scene with the two rocks.
Yeah.
It was
I-
such a cool experience.
I cried
Yeah,
at the scene with the two rocks with the googly eyes.
Yeah.
I,
because that too has to exist.
yeah.
Yes.
The way that this movie rides the line between absolute absurdity and heartbreaking drama is masterful. It shouldn't work. This movie shouldn't work, but it does. It's absolutely fantastic. I was pleased as punch.
Indeed.
I'm a big fan of Michelle Yeoh. I've been watching her for decades, I guess, at this point, and to see her get a huge American movie, not that that's better than anywhere else, but like
You're
a huge
more exposed
American.
to it.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
more exposed to it. And I think it brings her name into the households of America in a way that she hadn't previously been. If you
Yeah.
like,
I mean, I feel like Crouching
Crouching
Tiger, Hidden
Tiger,
Dragon.
I don't
was-
think it did not reach this height. I don't
No.
think.
Wait, no, it did.
it
Did it?
did,
But
but
it
it's
was
still
20
from a
years
different
ago.
different
It's a
lens.
That's
It's
still,
a
yeah.
whole nother,
It's a
like,
different lens.
I'd actually argue
Generation of
more
people.
people were exposed to that one.
That's
what
what
Then
it
That
is.
was
this.
before
really?
internet.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
probably
okay.
right.
That's like
Yeah.
we're talking like
Yeah.
Danny DeVito on Taxi.
Yeah.
Everyone was watching that. You know.
Oh,
True,
I
but
like
it's
you.
still the lens that it was through. So.
But yeah, the fact that she had this huge role where she could
Yeah.
really flex,
Mhm.
for lack of a better word.
Yeah,
I
do
was-
all sorts of different. She's
Mhm.
playing multiple versions of
Mhm.
her, for the lack of a better word. Although they are all connected. And then I heard somewhere, and I may not be getting this right, that they wanted to call her character Michelle,
Oh yeah.
and she was like, "No."
Yeah.
But that would be interesting, especially given that one of her alternate
It's her.
doppelgangers
Would be her
is
in
a
the movie.
famous,
Yeah.
but in the movie is a
Yeah.
famous person. the thing I was thinking about with the weird, silly stuff is the universe where they evolved with hot dog fingers.
Yep.
And she is also in love with an antagonist in the main universe, you know? And there's a lot of other stuff, but that's what stands out.
Well, the fact that they show you the hot dog universe and then explore the hot dog. I thought that was
the evolution of them.
One trick thing.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh no, there's a love story that we're going to tell inside this universe.
Yes.
Loved it.
It's a good movie. It was
thought
a
out.
good movie.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah.
No notes.
Yeah, those are our.
Yeah.
That was both of our number one.
The Daniels.
The Daniels directed it. Yes.
Everything they do, watch. It's great.
I'm not familiar with them other than this movie.
Swiss Army Man. Watch it.
Oh, I
Okay.
love Swiss Army
Swiss Army
Man.
Man
That
is
was
good.
great.
I've
Yeah,
heard
not
good
as,
things.
Not as good as this one.
No,
It is good.
but good.
Len,
but-
what's your number one?
My number one was Prey.
Ooh.
From
Eat,
Hulu.
Pray, Love. I
No,
saw that.
it's just Prey.
She finds herself.
And she does actually, which is a stealth predator movie, if you would believe it, that takes place back in what
1600s?
1600s maybe, I guess. Yeah.
No, wait, no, it's earlier than that.
Is it earlier than the 1600s?
French traders, French fur
Oh,
traders.
that's right.
1400s.
1400s.
Yeah, 1400s.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't have been here till
It
after
takes place a
1490.
long time ago.
I think it was
Okay.
1400s.
Let's go 1500s.
The Predators
Hold
have been
Let's
here
go
for a
back.
long time,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, and they came down and they were in like fighting, or learning how to survive, and this young and I want to say
Indigenous?
indigenous young girl who discovers them, and her people have to reconcile with this predator, and it's just, I just thought it was a beautiful movie. One, it's so smart in that it takes place in this indigenous world where, you know,
They're Comanche.
are they Comanche?
They're Comanche.
This basic, because it was like earlier this year. It's been a while since I
They did
saw
a
it.
Comanche cut where all of the dialogue in the movie was.
Oh yeah, that's
Was
cool.
in Comanche,
Yeah,
yeah.
That was supposed to be what they were going to do. It was just going to be in Comanche, but then
Oh yeah.
people were like, no.
You're like, subtitle movies don't
Well,
do as
yeah,
well.
But there's
They
still,
were
it's a,
supposed to record the lines twice.
Yeah, they did.
right.
Yeah.
Oh,
did.
They didn't do
really?
that.
They dubbed it instead.
Oh.
But they still,
But it would
but
have been so cool.
Yeah.
but there still is not a whole. There's not a whole lot of dialogue
Oh,
in the
okay.
movie
That's true.
anyway.
Yeah.
Nobody
You know what I
talks
mean?
for like the first 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And then there are actually times when they are speaking in their native tongue where the subtitles aren't even there because they just want you to be immersed in the experience of it.
Mhm.
And I thought that was excellent. It was smart. The action was great. The acting was fabulous. Special effects were amazing. And it's already of what, about 5-6 films, my favorite Predator movie.
Mm.
Oh,
And
it's definitely the best one since Predator,
No. It's
Yeah.
a ballsy move to call it Prey.
right?
No subtitle, and it's a very clever name.
Mhm.
You know, yeah.
My question is, with the immediate success of Prey, what are they going to start calling the next movies that are also Predators?
See, to
Prey
me,
2?
if they're smart,
Predator,
they
Prey
don't do
Predator
any more
2.
Predator movies.
They're going to.
I know they are.
made too much money on Hulu.
Well, it made money, you know. Admittedly, it did hit Hulu primarily because of the whole pandemic. They would have loved.
I would have loved to see that in
It's
the theater.
actually, I heard it was not necessarily a pandemic. It was more the merger,
Oh, that's right. It was
The
the merger,
Fox
Fox
Disney
and
merger.
Disney merger. You're right.
because it was a
Oh.
Fox movie
Mhm.
held over,
Mm.
Yeah,
and Fox had a pre-existing relationship
Deal
with
with
HBO Max for streaming.
Hmm.
So if they put it in the theater, it would be owned
It
by a
would've-
competitor
and
then it
for
would've
like 6 months.
Ah.
and they
but
were
if
like,
they put
"Nah,
it-
dead that."
Exactly, they put it directly on their streamer. They get all the revenue.
That was
Hmm.
right. You're right. Absolutely right.
They also did one of the coolest sequel baits I've seen in a long time.
With the gun
The
thing,
gun?
No.
Oh.
Did you watch credits?
I forgot already.
It's in the credits.
Yeah, right. It's
in the
animated. right?
animation.
It's
of-
animated.
It's in the
Oh,
animation.
that's right,
of
yeah.
it.
That's
Really
interesting.
neat.
They,
I mean, easy
they
to
stole
miss.
they stole
Hmm.
that from Wally.
Yes, that's where they stole it
Oh,
from.
that movie.
But it's just a
No.
really cool movie,
Don't
and
like this
I
Oh, I love it.
can I absolutely say that it's my favorite movie of 2022.
I hope so, because that's what we're talking about.
You don't have to.
If it's what comes to mind, it may not
but
be
it's
the
the,
best,
it's the
but
one that came
yeah.
to mind. It's one I thought was daring. It was brave, and it's a movie that resonates with me and always return to.
Loved it.
On that same note, is the Batman the best thing I saw this year? Maybe not. However, I keep thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
That's
go.
why it is my top of 2020.
I have purposely not been saying. Well, maybe I've been meaning to not purposely say best of. I've been meaning to say faves.
Yeah,
of.
that's yeah.
What's
I
the
want to get
difference?
away from best and worst. It's really it's
just like the
it's
things that
subjective.
spoke to me.
Yeah.
It's
specifically.
subjective.
And also,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
existence of a number of movies does not mean that they are in a linear.
Yeah.
This one is I liked more than this one, and this one more than this one.
So the
you know.
Batman.
The Batman.
The
Well,
Batman. Bruce Wayne.
Saw it in June opening weekend.
Oh shit.
And I'm still thinking about it like it's fresh. I adored this movie.
That was another movie I liked this year. Fresh.
Fresh.
That was
I
great.
adored it. I still think about specific scenes.
Mm.
It was incredibly familiar, at the same time being wildly different.
Mm.
I think of specific sequences. I don't know. I absolutely loved every stitch of this flick.
I don't know if
haven't
you
thought
meant.
about it since.
I don't know if this is what you meant by familiar. The reason why I did love that movie is because
Say did or did not love them.
I loved this
Okay.
movie.
Huh.
The reason why I did is because this was the first Batman movie that felt like the Batman comic book.
Yes.
That's what I mean by familiar. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was incredible. It was a different presentation
Mm-hmm.
of very familiar tropes.
Mm-hmm.
It literally felt like when we walked out of the theater, I told my wife, I was like, I feel like we binged the first season of the Batman.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't think that's a bad thing.
Me neither.
Like I felt like I had a giant meal, just like I do when I binge a 12-issue maxi series, or like it literally did feel like reading a novel in the best way.
Yeah, like at one point, about like what 2.5 hours in, I was like, "Oh, we've been here for a while," and then totally forgot that, and it flew by for me. As slow of a movie as it is, it flew by for me.
And I would have loved. I mean, I just saw Avatar. I don't love 3-hour and
No.
10-minute movies.
No,
But sometimes you'll see one and you're like, I don't know what they could have cut. I'm not exactly sure what they
Yeah.
would have taken out in order to like. Yeah, they could have made this
there's some
smaller,
things.
this little smaller.
Yeah, he could have walked
But-
with a little bit more pep in the step, but it was still.
just if Batman moves faster, we shave 15
Just
minutes.
shave frames. I had a
You're
lot. I
looking
had
natural.
several problems with this movie. I wish I liked it as much as everyone else in the world loves this movie. I know that it's on a lot of favorite lists. It's like everyone's favorite Batman movie. Mine's still 1989. Or Batman
Begins.
Dark Knight.
Mm.
It's probably still my
Mm.
top two. But there's just things in this, like he's got a bat cave. He's got a whole cave for
Yeah.
detective work. And he's like, no, I'm gonna throw a bunch of stuff on the ground in my mansion and spray paint the floor.
He lives
Because
in
that's
the
how
mansion too.
Every detective works. You got to have a giant.
I mean, he
you
dresses
gotta
up
have
as
all
a
your
bat.
stuff
He
on the
does different
floor.
stuff.
He doesn't
And also,
even,
yeah,
he
remember
doesn't
this
even
is-
live in the mansion. It's actually the tower.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't
That's
live in
true.
his home.
Well,
at his
JD, you're
family
clearly
mansion.
wrong.
And then the scene where like he's being beset upon by multiple high-powered machine guns,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and he's walking through. Even Robo. I was gonna say he walked through them like RoboCop.
Even-
RoboCop had
Yes.
trouble with machine guns in that one scene and
I
had to
don't know.
like.
He,
I
Yeah.
feel like
he was shucking and jiving. And
He
the
was
lights
shucking and
were off.
jiving,
I-
and-
yeah.
Yeah, man.
And,
he was getting riddled with bullets, and he was just like, "It's cool."
Yeah, but think of that this
That was
was
my favorite
still,
line in
even
the
though
film.
he,
It's cool.
even though you see him getting riddled with bullets,
Yeah.
they're clearly impacting him because there is a point where he does fall out and
Yeah.
has to take a shot of adrenaline. You've never seen that in a movie.
Mm.
Yeah,
that's true.
was amazing.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
right.
so you gotta. So
Yeah.
it
There's
was
stuff in
impacting
there
him.
that I like.
Yeah.
And also,
I'm
it
talking
wasn't
about the beginning of the
adrenaline.
movie.
It was definitely venom.
You think
Well,
so?
right,
Yeah. it's just
right,
like-
right.
They literally say in like makings of it, it's just like, hey, he gets a shot of adrenaline. This goes in the suit here.
It's
This is
Venom.
adrenaline.
It's
Probably
Venom.
Venom.
Right,
Probably,
right.
It's
yeah.
one of my favorite Batman stories. Is that Venom story?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's,
Yeah.
it's great.
So
So,
good.
But yeah, even like there was a cool URL Ratalada, and he was like, "It's not Spanish." You
yeah,
know,
I
it was
love
like,
that.
"Oh, that works perfectly." It's not one of those like, you're
The
reaching
whole
for
time
it riddles.
never occurs to him that it's a flying rodent as a bat.
Sometimes you don't
I
see
mean,
yourself.
But it
didn't occur to
wasn't.
me.
That wasn't the answer.
What was the answer?
I like the reasons you don't like it because there. It's like scenes or like little things you didn't like, as opposed to the entire
Right, not
concept of the
systemic.
story.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that's what it was great about this. This is a concept. This was a good first outing for
Yeah.
Matt Reeves.
Yeah.
He was a genius
Yeah.
director,
I love his
and
stuff.
I like what Len was saying. I feel like this is the first Gotham that both a Riddler, hyper serious, and a Mr. Freeze can live in. We've never.
I can
had
see that.
both.
Yeah,
Mm.
you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this felt like the first competent Commissioner Gordon.
Oh, yeah. So I was just about to mention there's Gordon, Catwoman,
Dude,
Zoe
Batman
Kravitz.
are all like,
CultPOP was fucking
that's-
dope.
oh, yeah.
Cobblepot was my
Unrecognizable.
favorite.
Penguin.
Unrecognizable.
He was my favorite
Completely.
Okay,
Let's get to
I'm
JD's.
watching this again.
Let's get to
part. Oh, we
JD's.
did mine. Everything everywhere.
Oh,
It
that's
was
right,
the same
that's
one.
right,
We
that's
did it
right,
alternating.
that's
I'm
right.
watching
Yeah.
the Batman tonight.
All right, let's move on.
Tonight.
Yeah, tonight. I'm
Sweet.
not going to sleep.
Sweet.
Watching Batman.
So what's next? We got comic books,
I
probably.
think comics
Comic
is next.
books
Is it
might
comic
be
books?
next, but it's
We'll never know.
I bet
Here
we
we go.
will. I think
So-
we'll know.
The whole show memorized at the very least.
Brian,
Yeah.
Brian, start us off with your runners up. Let's go. Let's start getting a little quicker with this.
I will. Thank you. Human Target.
Okay, Human Target. Oh my god, I love that one too.
Now, here's the thing. I'm a little. I put it on there with some wariness because it's
Uh-huh.
Tom King and it
Uh-huh.
hasn't ended yet,
Yes.
and I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But the parts that I've read so far, phenomenal.
All the issues in 2022
Yeah.
you'd like.
I still be into it. Yes, all the
So-
2022
so it's
issues.
still-
Yeah.
2023 might ruin it,
You never know,
but right so far.
right?
Yeah.
So far, the art has this
Ugh.
mid-century.
Greg Smallwood.
Greg
It's so
Smallwood.
good. It's this
Big
detective hints of like early Looney
Ew.
Tunes line
Mhm.
work art. It's a style that I love, and it's done really
Backlit.
well. And the detective story, like you said, I love a mystery. Evidently,
Mhm.
it's really good. He's
Yeah.
got to solve who has tried to poison someone else and accidentally poison him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
stuff.
the form that he's following, that Tom King, the writer, is following, is every issue is a day. He's got 12 days to live. There are
Right,
12
right.
issues to the series.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So great story by a character that's like cool. He had a show
Yeah.
a while ago. It was
Yep.
cool.
And
I
one
was
season,
never
think.
like it was a really good show
Was
actually.
it?
But I've never been like got to pick up that next Human Target.
Nobody.
You know, right?
This was one of my runners up as well. It was
Cool.
on my list.
Yeah.
I want to say I read the Human Target miniseries. I want to say it was Vertigo,
like
maybe
Milligan?
about like 15 years ago.
Oh,
20
yeah.
years ago.
Okay.
Probably
Before he had a
closer to 20.
TV show,
Hmm.
and
Sorry.
yeah, man, every issue of this book is a banger.
It's really good.
and the
Yeah.
Greg Smallwood is
Classic detective,
Artwork is
like
wonderful.
film
Greg-
noir detective.
Throbwood. Yeah.
Yes. I wonder if he got that a lot in a negative
Gregory
way. You know?
Thickwood.
What's your
It's like
other
his
runner-up?
British counterpart.
What's your other runner-up?
I'll tell you what it was. It was Green Lantern,
Huh.
which does not really specify it so much.
Mhm.
This particular Green Lantern was the one with Jon Stewart as the lead.
The Jeffrey Thorne run.
Yes,
It was only like 13 issues.
yeah, pretty short. The art is great. The story is just like, here's Green Lantern, right? Like, I love the Jeff Johns run, and then it kind of went a little sidetracked with all the different lantern rings. There's no other color of lantern. I mean, there's like yellow, which is fine. But it's just really solid, cool Green Lantern storytelling where John gets a superpower, like a super upgrade in a
Mm.
cool way. There's some New God stuff. I think this is the one where a lot of the Green Lanterns don't have their ring, kind of like presaging future state. But it doesn't have anything to do with future state. It's just like they may have said, "Here's what we're thinking about doing," and then they did it. I don't
I
know.
liked the Future State issues. I have this run. I just haven't read it yet.
Yeah, it's good. It's like you could recommend this as somebody comes in, they heard Green Lantern was cool. Check out this
Right.
comic. Yeah.
I've only seen the cartoon.
Yeah. Check out this comic.
Yeah, and actually, starting this month, Green Lantern John Stewart, Green Lantern Hal Jordan.
Oh, cool.
Two new Green Lantern books are coming down
Cool.
the pike in new issues. Len,
Yes.
your runners up, please.
My runners up. I'll save one because I know it's somebody's number one. But one was the 6 sidekicks of Trigger Keaton.
Fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Oh,
Which
we
is
read
just
the first issue of that for the
fucking
show.
awesome.
It's just bonkers
All right,
fun.
cool.
It's-
Everything Kyle Starks does is
It's just bonkers fun. It's like the sidekicks of this kind of like Bruce Willis
Willis-ish?
Bruce Willow.
I've been drinking.
We've seen you.
Like Chuck Norris. Like
Yeah,
Chuck Norris
yeah,
asshole.
the Chuck Norris asshole, kind of like action hero, and he's got all these sidekicks, and
6 of them.
yes.
Oh, is that where the title?
That's what
Whoa.
it's like.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Ah.
and they gather together. It's just read it. It's a bucket of fun. This is my runner up. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. It's a whole lot of fun. And then my other runner up is a book that we did read when I was doing the show, the first issue of, and I remember JD falling in love with it. I was like, man, JD, what do you know? And I had an opportunity to get the whole like trade. I was like, let me check it out. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's called 8 Million Genies.
8 billion?
8 billion genies. And it basically, the premise is, what if everyone in the world had one wish? Yes.
Yeah. A little genie pops up next to every single person.
And they look cool too.
Yeah.
They're
Like,
like
so-
that Starfield kind of thing.
And just madness ensues.
Cool.
And it's insane, and it progressively gets more and more
As I
insane.
recall, it jumps ahead in like increments of
Yes.
it's like
Yeah, the first
Powers
issue is like
of
the
8.
first
yeah, something like
minutes or
that.
something.
Yeah.
First 8
minutes,
days.
8
8
hours,
hours,
8
8 days, and
Yeah.
8 months. It's insane. It's
Cool.
a whole lot of fun. It's a bucket of fun, and I really enjoyed
Yeah, I
it.
really
And
like the
I
first
really
issue.
want to catch up on
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will like it. So those are my runner-ups.
Noel.
Yes. I have runner-ups. I will save one of them because we're going to talk about it. Maybe someone picked it.
Maybe.
My 2 runner-ups this year was Dual Powerbomb by Daniel Warren Johnson.
As mentioned by Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight.
Sure.
It is one of the best comic book. Everything he does, every year he comes out with a new like miniseries and it's always banger. Like
Wonder Woman Dead Earth.
if you were to tell me that I would be like
Right.
softly weeping at the end of a story about pro wrestlers who travel to the netherworld in order to tag team fight for the soul of another. Okay.
So good.
It's great. It's wonderful.
Hmm.
The other runner-up that I want to talk about that not enough people talk about. So I've been on the massive verse hook for a long time, Radiant Black and those related books. The second book is Rogue Sun.
Oh, yeah.
It is a fantastic superhero book, but what got it to the runner-up status, almost best of status, was issue 7, which we talked about on the show. It was a choose your own adventure issue.
That's right.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That did sound cool.
Forgot about that.
And the point of it was to stop following the directions because the character doesn't play by game rules. It was so fucking meta. Yeah, super meta. Like the bad guy he's fighting keeps putting him in loops, in time loops. And as the reader, you're going to, all right, if he does it this time loop, does this, he'll get to this place. After 20 minutes of following the rules, it kept putting me back into a loop over and over again of like not winning. So I was like, screw this. I'm just going to skip.
That's awesome.
And I skipped. And the page that I never got to was the main character just punching him out because he refuses to keep playing because you were supposed to not follow the rules in order to enjoy this book. I was like, screw you.
Yeah.
This is the best superhero book I'm reading
Screw
right now.
you, but also bravo.
Yeah, everyone needs to pick up Rogue Sun. It's wonderful. I have no idea how this issue is going to be collected.
Yeah.
And from acclaimed writer Ryan Parrott.
Ryan Parrott, I don't remember the artist.
Abel, Chris O'Halloran.
Is he not acclaimed?
Abel.
That's too bad.
Ryan Parrott is currently writing
Knowles acclaimed.
or was writing the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and a couple of other things.
He said that was surprisingly good.
Surprisingly good.
Yeah.
It's just super fun. Everyone should give it a shot.
Nice.
Rogue
My runners up, we already talked about Human Target.
Oh, yeah.
And then Spider-Man Beyond. Amazing Spider-Man. It was the run of Amazing Spider-Man that took place this past year before the reboot when they started with, what is his name?
Ben Riley? Miles Morales?
Benjamin?
The guy who's currently writing.
Zeb
Before they
Wells.
started with Zeb Wells.
Zeb Wells.
But yes, you are correct.
Yeah.
Amazing
Okay.
Spider-Man, the Beyond storyline was its own run of Amazing. It started with a number 1, I want to say, and went through the. But did it not?
75.
75?
It actually went like 75.
Oh,
to
you're
80,
right,
so
yeah.
We read it for the show. I believe.
And it is basically Ben Riley, Peter Parker's clone. Something happens to Peter Parker, and he is waylaid. He is in the hospital. So Ben Riley puts on the suit and is backed by the Beyond Corporation, who pays to buy the rights to Spider-Man. So Peter can't even put on the costume anyway. And they make Ben Reilly the new Spider-Man. And it is a bucket of fun. I'm a huge Ben Reilly fan. I love the Clone, even though it came from the Clone Saga of the 90s, which is one of the worst runs of Spider-Man.
I remember it fondly.
Do you?
I do.
You remember,
but yeah, man, it is
fondly too.
the
Very
Beyond
fun.
the Beyond series was really, really fun. Highly recommend it. And you should probably read it if you want all the backstory for what is going on right now in Spider-Man Dark Web, which is a Spider-Man crossover event that's going on between Ben Reilly, due to the events of what happened in Beyond, is now kind of a bad guy, and what is her name? Madeline Pryor, who is the clone of Jean Grey from the X-Men. And they are both getting together to cause some inferno type havoc and try to get Ben Reilly's memories back.
That's nice.
It was a lot of fun. Really great. Should we do our number ones? Let's go, Brian.
Well, I had picked, even though I'm not caught up, Batman Superman World's Finest. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
This comic,
Yeah.
as you guys all well know, is like the comics comic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I think of done well when I think not of the medium of comics, but what people call comics, superhero comics, right? It's just Mark Waid with all of DC continuity, weaving it in together. The art is classic and
Dan
phenomenal.
Mora?
Yes. And like few people know DC continuity like Mark Waid does.
Yeah.
And he has, I think, an even more than Jeff Johns ability to tie it all in and make it cool and relevant, not just like, hey, I'm going to mention Comet the Super Horse or whatever.
This book was my other
which is not a reference to any.
Okay.
No, that's just I thought about Beppo the Super Monkey.
This was also one of my runner-ups. I've had more fun reading this than almost anything else this year. And I implored to you two specifically, and if you want to, if you're reading it,
It's classic.
Why do you look so
you need to get current, and you need to get.
Len,
No,
listen,
I love you. Hey,
I think you would like it.
Yeah. Batman's in it, and he's done very well.
Look. You guys need to get current.
Yeah.
You need to get current as soon as.
I have
humanly
already
fucking
got the
possible.
issues, and I
Yeah.
started yesterday when you told me.
I'll tell you what, I have
It's-
them, and
it's-
I cannot find one in
it's-
the middle. It's like, what do I do?
When it gets spoiled, you're gonna be mad that you didn't read it
Yeah,
in real time.
okay.
Yeah.
The cliffhanger at the end of issue 10 is so fucking
Okay.
awesome.
Okay,
Just
cool.
so awesome.
well,
I
let
wanna
me
get
ask
to
you, who's drawing that book?
Dan
Dan
Mora.
Mora!
Okay.
I said, God damn!
Mora.
But it's like in his Brave and the Bold run from years ago.
I thought
It's like a
I-
tour
I
of
think it's better.
yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I can see you thinking that.
Yeah.
I think that
That's what
now.
It's a tour of the DC universe.
Yeah.
When I say the continuity, like in issue 2, they're with the Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Then they're get a Green Lantern ring,
So-
and then it's cool.
That's what you find to point out too. They're like it's not every issue is a new adventure,
No,
and it is affecting current continuity right
Yes.
now.
Yeah. There's
So
a big
even
event coming out.
even though the book takes place, loosely about 10 years ago, because
Yeah.
Robin is
In the
Dick
recent
Grayson.
past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it says.
recent
it's
past.
the only confusing part of the book that there's like
Well,
two
like, yeah,
different eras
it's
that are
Dick Grayson is the Robin and blah blah blah.
yeah.
Everything that's been happening in that book is being reflected in current continuity with Batman versus Robin and this whole
Right.
Lazarus stuff going on, and the big bad from the first arc,
Mhm.
and the cliffhanger at the end of issue 10. So get on it, guys. This book is amazing.
See,
You liked Batman Universe, right?
yes,
It's
You'd
very
like
much
this,
there.
yeah.
Read this.
Yeah,
See,
yeah.
I don't know if this is World's Finest. I do have a trade that is Batman Superman. It's the one, maybe it's from 2021, where they're almost like in like a film strip, like they're
No.
That's different. That's very cool too.
That was
You
good.
Put that in the trash compared to this,
Yeah.
even though that was pretty good.
That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't have to put it.
Drawn by
Yeah.
Yvonne Reese.
Yeah.
That was
yes, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gorgeous. That's why I
Jin
was
Lin
asking.
Yang.
Yeah.
And Jin Wen Yang. That's right.
It was a good one.
Gorgeous.
That was the end of the last
Yeah.
iteration.
Superman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Robin Monroe Jr. says, check out Bungleton Green and the Mystic Commandos by Jay Jackson. It's a comic strip that appeared in the Chicago Defender, a black newspaper, in 1942 that goes from a comedy strip to an anti-racist adventure strip. Now, Robert, is this something that is currently in print
Yeah, is
that
it
we can
possible?
read? How do we
I
read
mean,
it?
it
There may
feels
be
like
a
you might be
collection
able
of
to
it.
Is
find
there
it
a collection?
online.
Yeah.
This is
That's
from
what I'm
1942 that somebody might have scanned it in.
Who's up?
Could be any of us.
I mean,
No.
you want me to go?
I want you to go.
Go.
Once and Future is the best comic book that came out in 2022.
Nice.
It wrapped up in 2022. I think it started in 2020.
Also drawn by Dan Mora.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait,
Okay.
maybe it
Two
started
appearances
maybe it
on the
started in
best.
2020 or 2019. Either way, 36 issues, complete story. This year was the last arc. It is, I think it's the best thing Kieran Gillen's ever done.
Cool. And he's done some good stuff.
I think Dan Mora is where I discovered him.
Yeah.
He's my favorite artist. The last 3 issues of this, it was such a satisfying finale.
Cool.
The last 3 issues I literally was fist pumping. I literally gasped. And then I got misty in the last one. So like
what's the
last
30?
three-
What's the 30-second pitch on the story?
Oh shit.
Oh right, you didn't read. We read
So-
volume 1.
I'll how it starts. It is a bunch of people, paramilitaries, we don't really know, resurrect King Arthur
Okay.
as a zombie. And it's the true to probably history King Arthur, where might have been
He's a
a
dick.
xenophobe.
Well, he slaughters
Yeah.
a bunch of them because they're Saxons, and
Yeah,
he was fighting
because they're
Saxons.
not
Yeah.
pure blooded.
Yeah. That's the real deal.
So it's magical xenophobic zombie King Arthur.
Mm.
And this woman and her grandson who have a history with the original King Arthur family have to stop it. It turns into stories becoming real and being manifested, and to stop them, you have to battle them with other stories. So like the first arc
Yeah,
is King
that's
Arthur,
cool.
and honestly too, like the last 2 arcs is King Arthur. Like it loops back around, but it also plays with a lot of public domain stuff like Beowulf and
Ooh,
and
sounds very
Robin
fableish.
Hood and-
Ooh, I'm loving this.
yes, but like dirty.
yeah, well,
It's violent and it's
Wait, what did you compare it
this-
to?
Fables.
fables.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Fables still has that sheen of like
Yeah,
proper.
Yeah.
right.
This
Like
is
that.
way
Hmm.
modern. It's the best book.
Now, Noel,
Yeah.
I want to tell you that I really strongly considered this for my runners-up, but I couldn't do it. I didn't feel right in good conscience because I have not read anything that came out in 2022.
Yeah.
It was on the list, and I was like, wait a second. You got us to read
Oh, the
volume
last-
1,
Yeah.
but also got us volume 2, but we didn't have to read it for the show. Breezed right through it,
Yeah.
and bought the rest of them. And I was like, oh, I didn't read any of the 2022
I've
stuff
only read
yet.
the first 2 volumes as well.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, I love it.
I have to
It
finish
was awesome.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Like really the last 3 issues like the second to last issue was a oh my god, they didn't just kill that person. The second to last, sorry, the penultimate, then the second to last issue was fist bump, holy shit. It was just it I was when was the last time you read something you audibly like in the room was just like what?
Yeah.
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 That doesn't happen
while
that
ago.
often. Yeah.
Yeah, not very often.
Awesome
Cool.
book. Everyone read it.
I shall. Len,
Yes.
your number 1.
My number 1 was The Nice House on the Lake, which is very not me because it's a horror comic book.
It's true.
I
Written
do-
by James Tynion IV.
yes, and art by Alvaro Martinez.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably.
That sounds right.
He is a person.
I think it's like 3 names,
It's
but
a name.
Martinez is
Yeah.
the last one.
There you go. I got 2 of them.
You were there.
That I find that book I sell it a lot to the people at the comic shop, but I never can tell them what it's about. They
No.
just take my word that it's good. I'm like, I can't tell you what it's about. It'll ruin it.
Well, no, what you can tell them is what I'm going to tell you. It's about this group of friends who have a tangential relationship with this one guy, Walter, who invites them to this beautiful house
It's Glass
on
Onion.
on the lake. Pretty
Oh,
much.
interesting.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
Wow. You know, I
Put them together.
this is why you host the show. So and it
Nice house on the glass onion.
there you go. And through their getting to know one another and trying to understand why are they there at this house together, and Walter seems to be slightly odd as they each of them realizing they know different aspects of Walter. It just comes together as this really cool, moody, creepy, suspenseful thriller. And I think that's the reason why I love it, because it is horror. It's horror, but it's thriller.
Yeah,
it's
thriller.
suspense.
It's more suspense and thriller. However, the end of the first issue made me queasy.
It does.
Yeah.
It does, because because
That's
like
what I don't want to ruin.
Yeah,
that's true.
But it was the kind of queasy, not like, oh, that's gross. It was more like I immediately imagined it, and it made my stomach rise.
Yeah.
Was it one of your favorite times of getting acid reflux?
Oh, damn it! I was going to say that.
Top 3.
Thank you.
Top 3 right there.
Top 3. Tasted my food.
That's cool.
Yeah.
But it's a gorgeous meditative book, and I really
I haven't
enjoy
finished it yet. So
I haven't finished. To be fair, I honestly haven't finished
the first
it.
6, right?
I read like the first maybe 6, 5, and I put it on the list like as a Christmas gift, and somebody bought it for me, and I like flipped through it. I was like, oh no, I need to spend time with this. I need to spend time with this.
It's a sit and read, not
It's beautiful because of Alvaro Martinez Bueno.
Oh, there you go.
One of the names was right.
Thank you.
I got 2 of them. I love you guys.
And also, Volume 2 is coming March 7th, 2023.
I highly
The
recommend
12th issue just came out a couple weeks ago, so it's
just wrapped up.
technically finished.
I agree wholeheartedly. It's a good one. I would have put it on my list if I read any of it in 2022.
What is on your top book?
Well, I'll tell you immediately after I tell you what Robert Monroe Jr. commented. It was collected and published last year by the New York Review of Books in reference to Bungleton Green and the Mystic Commandos by Jay Jackson.
Okay, well,
Cool.
now we have our answer.
That's how you comment with context. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, because I actually thought he was talking about
No.
Nice House.
My number 1 book of this year, I just read it last week. We did it for our Hero Complex book club that we do over on Zoom on Monday nights at 8 p.m. No, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on Zoom. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tom King with art by Bilquis Evely.
Yes.
Bilquis Evely. This is a wonderful throwback comic to classic Silver Age Supergirl, while also being basically it's not a retelling, but it references heavily, I would say, the elevator pitch of True Grit.
Oh, is that
So
right?
basically, this little girl who lives on another planet way, way, way away, her father is murdered by a villain, and she enlists the help of Supergirl to help her track down this villain. And it's basically 12 issues of them trying to catch this guy and then finally catching him. Spoiler alert. But I got broken up. I got teared up several times reading this book in several different parts throughout the 12 issues. I got verklempt.
It's phenomenal.
It's wonderful.
This
The
was a
art
strong
is-
contender for one of my runners up.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
I
glad to
loved
hear
it.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, Tom King.
Right.
Right?
He's a lot of times he's like good up until he does something I don't like. You know? But you're right. Very Silver Agey in that kind of more modern lens that we've got now, where it's not the modern lens of 20 years ago where we're talking about it, but we're cynical about it. It's like,
we're using
hey,
it.
this stuff is cool,
Yeah.
right? It's fun. What jumps out to me is when they're on that train and she gets like a red kryptonite drug that people do for other reasons. And she's like, I can use this to get my powers back a little bit. And very Silver Age solve. You know, it was cool.
It's really cool. And it
wasn't a solve, it was a pill.
But you say how it like harkens back to like Silver Age Supergirl, and it does, and it really definitely elevates Supergirl as a character. You actually like feel like, I like myself some Supergirl, right?
Yeah.
But the art style about Bilquis is so beautiful. I love that kind of like harkens back to the early 20th century comic strip art of like Flash Gordon and
it's very pulpy.
I'd say
Buck
early
Rogers.
fantasy novel,
It's pulpy.
like drawing.
Yeah, very pulpy, very pulpy.
I
And
was
it-
actually thinking about when they used to put like Bible. There was like a Bible cartoon in the back of the newspapers. You guys remember this?
No,
I remember those.
I
Yeah,
lived in a
It's
different.
got a touch of that.
it's got a touch of that because it's.
I am a cartoon in
Yeah,
the newspaper.
Yeah, I see what he's
Or
going.
like
I see
Prince
what he's going
Valiant
for.
kind of shit?
It also has a little bit. I mean, it's like these other worlds actually they don't feel sci-fi. They feel like almost like a fantasy.
They're like a fantasy
dimensional
world.
type
She
of
carries
thing.
a sword half the time.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
It's
cool,
a
man.
fantasy western.
Yeah,
I
and
would
it's
say.
really
Yeah.
it's a
Highly
cool looking
fantastic
sword,
film.
too.
It is a book that you could just give to people.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is.
And it has one of the most beautiful descriptions of a Kryptonian's powers on Earth. And
What
not
was that?
just they sort of she talks about Supergirl's powers in that not that she would turn her breath cold to free someone,
Mhm.
but in order to talk to you, she is constantly struggling not to freeze you with her freeze
That's
breath.
interesting. Yeah,
She's
yeah,
struggling
it's-
not to
I forgot that part.
it like light you on fire with her.
It's not,
with
what
Right,
her-
you, it's not what you accomplish that makes you super. It's what you hold back.
Yeah, her true strength is not decimating everyone around her at any given moment.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful. So highly recommend. Should we move on? Did we get everybody?
We did everybody.
Let's rock TV and
All
let's
right,
get out of here.
TV.
TV.
Brian, run
Yes.
us up on television. Go.
Runners up. Minx. Right? Wonderful show.
Yes, a lot of fun.
Yes, it is. I originally thought it was a true story. It's not in any way, but it speaks to a movement that actually happened where there's this woman who wants to start this magazine that's like very high-minded. This is in the time of the 70s.
Yeah.
Gloria
feminist.
Steinem. Yes. She is of that mold and she wants to write a magazine about that stuff. She goes to this like magazine kind of pitch convention, runs into this pornographer played by Jake Johnson from New Girl, who I think is like just his timing. He's brilliant, right? And she meets him in the beginning. She goes to pitch. Nobody wants to buy her pitch. Comes back to him, and he's like, "Look, your stuff is awesome, but nobody will buy this. But if we put naked men in it, they will, right?" Which is not dissimilar from Playboy in reality. That he wanted to promote American writers, and he was like, "But people also like nude women, right?" So
It's true.
people do like nude
It's
women.
true. Yeah, he was-
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
wrong.
Both parts.
And both parts of a nude woman.
Yeah.
One and two. So anyway, she's like, no, I don't want to do it. It's this classic kind of like gets drawn in, convinced to do it. Then she's in it. And it's, she's this uptight person and they're all like, hey, we run a porn magazine, so much fun. And it's so nice to watch the story of a fight that was unjust, but history will win.
Yeah.
Like she will win it. It's like it's nice to watch. Like, oh, she's gonna keep succeeding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone, the main actress is great. All the side characters are just so much fun.
Comes like a workplace kind of comedy.
Yeah. And he's great. So unfortunately, it was recently canceled by HBO Max after having completed filming of season 2.
That
I
drives
know.
me nuts.
Right?
I know. So hopefully it'll find a home.
They've said we're shopping it around.
Oh,
so
good.
I'm hoping that it was renewed like
It was
a
renewed.
month after it aired. It was so popular, and it's just one of those like, it's just fun.
Is season 1 still on HBO Max?
I
or is
hope
it
so.
removed?
I'm not sure.
They may have removed it.
Because I know they've been
I
They've been
didn't think
taking
about
stuff
that.
off.
Yeah. I don't know.
I put money on it being not there anymore.
Could go
I
either
still
way.
haven't gotten over the cancellation of Glow.
Oh yeah,
I loved Glow.
yeah.
At least you got like 4 seasons of that.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Your other runner-up.
So Star Trek: Strange New Worlds,
Mm.
Awesome.
such classic Trek. It's now all the new Trek I've loved. It's all been great, but this is the one that feels like the successor to the original Next
Yeah,
Generation Strange New Worlds. This is main.
Would you
Trek.
compare it to Mark Waid's World's Finest?
Yeah, it's really good. They both have worlds in the title.
One. Jesus Christ.
This is
I
plural.
mean, it's like classically, it's
Yes,
like modern but
it is.
classic.
Very
Yes.
much so. It's modern but classic.
Watched it yet?
I watched the first episode.
Okay.
Very
And I was
It,
like,
it just keeps going from there for like 9 more
It's
episodes.
super cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
We're cutting you off now.
Next.
Who's next?
It's Len.
Okay.
And it's Len.
Big, it's heavy, it's wood.
What, we got time for this, and I can't talk about Strange New Worlds.
Severance, go.
Severance is one of my runner-ups, and it's probably on a lot of people's best of
Yeah.
of 2022,
Almost.
and it is an excellent show. It basically supposes if you could have There's one of you that goes to work, and there's one of you that lives at home, and neither knows the other. It's moody, it's funny, it's
Stylistic?
very stylistic, very dark, but it's creepy.
Yeah.
And it's very evocative, and it'll get you talking. It definitely it's a conversation starter. So my boy told me about it. I was like, I don't know. I watched the first episode. I was like, I don't know. But then I sat down. He said, sit down with it. I sat down with it, and it rocked. House of the Dragon. I love returning to the world of Game of Thrones.
Really?
Game of Thrones left me with a bad taste in my mouth because it ended horribly the last 2 seasons. So I was very trepidatious about returning to this world. Within the first episode, I was right back there, and it just felt like old home again. I was like, "Oh my god!"
But now it's lost its showrunner. Did you hear about that?
Oh well.
No, one of the showrunners they had left in the middle of the season.
Yeah, in the middle of the season.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't hate Game of Thrones. I think we were on the same page.
Yeah,
Game of Thrones.
I didn't hate it
that much.
It didn't end the way I would have preferred, but I didn't hate it.
After watching House of the Dragon, I was okay not revisiting.
Oh no, yeah, I will never revisit Game of Thrones.
No, I'm talking about that world.
You're done
with it. And watching this, I'm like, yeah, it's impressive. Yeah, it's intriguing. Yeah, that's cool. I don't like any of these people, and I don't like spending time here.
I
disagree.
I wasn't super bothered by the end of Game of Thrones like everyone else was, but I felt my reaction to this show was yours. Was I'd right back into it.
Yeah,
I was like, oh man, I don't care about Game of Thrones. Like I'm over with. It's done. Whatever. Blah blah blah. I was like, let me try it out. Oh, I'm in.
Yeah,
because of Doctor Who.
Not because of Matt
cool.
Smith, no.
He's cool.
Although he is a fun character.
No, he is fun.
Yeah.
I think the reason why I
fan,
like
cool.
this prequel as opposed to some other prequels is because this takes place far enough in the past that I don't really know what happens to. You kind of know some stuff, but you don't really.
I mean, we do kind of.
You can do kind of, but you don't 100% know.
It's just,
and also,
I don't care.
Oh, no,
that's long enough in the life
that's
that I
not
don't
something
care.
that bothers me. I don't believe in this whole like, why the fuck am I going to watch Andor if I know how it's going to end? That is stupid.
Yeah, that don't.
I'm just talking about.
I don't agree that that's stupid because that's my reason.
I think it's.
Yeah, I'm not usually a big fan of prequels just because I'm not against them. I'm just usually like,
It's the journey, not the destination. It's just that
Same.
House of the Dragon it's really just repeating the same exact beats, only one family instead of.
But I like that.
It started to as impressive as it was, and each episode was just like that was really cool. That was really cool, but it still just felt samey.
Okay.
So when it comes back, I will probably watch it.
It's a runner-up. It's a runner-up.
Yeah, no. When it comes back, I will probably
Don't
watch.
feel bad, Len.
No.
Talk you out of it.
That's just it. Like I don't know why it's not clicking with me because every single box is checked, but it's simply not clicking with me. And I will probably watch the second season, but I hope that it just like finally hits because everything about it's impressive.
So that's my runner-ups. I could have others, but let's keep it moving.
Yeah, Noel, you tell us your runners-up so we can disagree with them. What's yours?
I'll save one so I can disagree with you. Abbott Elementary. Has anybody watched Abbott Elementary?
I've watched it.
It's
Really
really
good.
good.
It is.
I've watched it. It's funny.
Yeah, right?
It's an awesome sitcom. It is light. It is airy. It is. It's not The Office.
No.
But it has the same kind of storytelling device of The Office, where a documentary film crew is following a public school in Philadelphia.
People just look at the camera.
What's in Philadelphia?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
based
that
in
is Philadelphia.
That's
And
where
it
we
is, and it is,
Gritty was on there.
it is very
Who was?
Philadelphian.
Gritty.
Like they make, which I don't understand how this like flies on network television, but they make very, very specific Philadelphia references.
Mhm.
Like there'll be a one-off joke about Jim Gardner. There'll be a one-off
No.
joke about, I'm like, does anybody in the world get this?
Yeah.
And
It's
and
it's Easter egg.
it's a delightful
Yeah.
show. It's always
It's
on
a
the list.
very cute show.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My other runner-up is Peacemaker.
I forgot about that show.
I was thinking about that as
But
a
it's
runner-up.
good. It
Really
was-
good show.
I didn't
It
finish
It is
that.
Really
it is
good
an
show.
incredibly
Oh, you
strong
really?
show.
Oh, it's really good.
And when I guess when people have the conversation about James Gunn, yes, it's quirky, it's silly, it's ridiculous, but it was like wildly heartfelt and like really, really like
Very
dark
much so.
and
Yeah.
really, really hopeful at the
Yeah.
same time.
That had an intro that I never skipped.
Never.
Yeah.
I
That's
watched
very
that
true.
intro every
And I was
time.
annoyed when he was like, "You shouldn't be able to skip it." I was like, "Yeah, let me make that
Yeah.
call."
Yeah.
and then I never skipped it. It was awesome. You
At
know,
least it was your decision.
exactly.
It's a
And
great show.
if I hadn't been able to, I would have walked out of the room. I don't care how much I liked it.
And I did throw a third runner up in there, but it's one of JD's runner ups. So
Oh, Stranger Things season 4. I'll tell you what, I still love this show. Stranger Things is one of my all-time favorite Netflix experiences. I absolutely love every season of this show. It speaks to everything I love about growing up watching horror movies and reading Stephen King and kids on bikes having adventures, Goonies, etc. It takes all of my childhood favorites and puts them together in this nice little Susan?
yeah, no, I think this season,
No.
No. What's
You could have a sousson of the thing that it is
a
delivering
flavor of
to
this, a
you.
flavor of
It's a
that.
small amount, a dash.
oh,
I think what you mean is a soup.
a soup of Susan.
Yeah.
A Susan soup.
A sousson soup.
Yeah.
It's good soup.
Yeah, good soup.
Yeah.
No, Stranger Things season 4
Yeah.
like escalated everything
Yeah.
Oh.
in a very like confident thematic way. So I was
And it brought in
cool.
very happy with it.
Robert Englund of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, Freddy.
Yes, Freddy.
The
And a
show
very Freddy
The
villain.
non-titular.
the show is becoming
Freddy.
the show is formulaic,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
like really well done. And
I'll tell
just
you,
really fun. Like I have watched the climax episode like 3 or 4
Ooh.
times.
Mhm.
Yeah, where they all climax.
They're high school
So
kids.
it this,
They're not.
does-
They're like
does
in their
that-
late 20s.
it does that narrative thing where you have multiple teams of characters
Mhm.
having to synchronize acts in different places. It's the
including
Empire.
Russia.
It's the Empire Strikes Back. It's the they won't be able to
That's always
succeed
cool.
unless I do this.
Right,
and you do
right.
this.
And they won't even know
And,
if I.
yeah, and it's just all based off of hope
Hmm.
and competence, right?
Hmm.
So that whole sequence of on the trailer, in the Upside Down with Vecna, in Russia, all intercutted was just one of the most
Hmm.
delightful climaxes
Nice.
this whole year.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Agreed. And it brought me Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush,
Yeah.
which I had on I think everyone had it on nonstop because I would
I
turn
don't
I would
listen to
have
this
it on
song.
in my car.
Yeah.
I would turn the car off. I would go into a store and it would be playing.
Was it at the same part?
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
There was going to be, I think, significantly more Kate Bush in Thor: Love and Thunder until it was so popular in
oh,
Stranger
no
Things,
kidding.
and that's why it was all whatever artist it was. I
Guns N'
forget.
Roses?
I think so.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
So.
Sorry.
and
So-
Thor- not-
Also, season 4 brought us lots of kids getting fucking legs broken, which is good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Terry's one of
That's
Terry's all-time favorite things. breaking
Specifically,
baby legs.
legs.
breaking
Yeah.
breaking
legs.
babies.
Like that movie, Breaking Babies.
Breaking
Breaking
Um,
babies.
What was
What is this
my
reference
Your
to?
other
other-
runner-up is
I forget.
Icky Sisters.
Oh,
Oh,
Bad, Sisters.
Bad Sisters.
That was a good
So,
show.
I was a good show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's not like big and crazy and new. Like Severance is
No.
a big, crazy new idea. This is not. This is a murder mystery. You know who's been murdered.
Yes.
You have
Yeah.
to figure out who did the murdering and why.
Yeah.
Yes.
And every
That's actually the case
episode
with
is
most murder
murder
mysteries.
mystery. Yes, that's true.
Murder
Murder
mysteries.
mystery.
But it is
Murder
different
mystery.
in that you
also
know
been
that it
drinking.
succeeded.
Yeah,
You guys all had one beer.
Yeah. I am a lightweight. But it does have Sharon Horgan. The reason I watched this
Mm.
show to begin with was Sharon Horgan. She was one of my all-time favorites. Another show that I recommend is Catastrophe
Oh.
on the BBC. Very, very good. But yeah, it's just a really fun, clever, funny, dark comedy about murdering your sister's shitty husband.
Like the worst. He's
The worst.
terrible.
Yeah.
Was there anybody else that you recognized other than her? I don't think
Oh,
so.
yes.
Was there?
Yeah, there were other. I couldn't tell them. I couldn't tell you by name.
That's fine.
Yeah,
But-
but if you know, like you watch
Watching
British
BBC
shows,
British stuff, yeah,
you-
yeah,
I've seen many
I
of
don't.
them.
Yeah.
I was trying to
Including
think
a
of.
guy from one of my all-time favorite sitcoms, Spaced, by Simon Pegg, and
Oh, really? Who was? Was that one of the
Edgar Wright.
insurance guys?
Edgar Wright.
it was the neighbor across the street.
Oh.
Plus, she got an eye
okay.
patch.
Very.
Why?
Oh,
What's
I
that?
showed the people at home. that
she has an
they're
eye
probably-
patch
Hmm.
because of the husband that everyone wants to kill.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That was actually a fun show. I caught it
Yeah.
in the, like the end because my lady was watching it and I just kept on caught one. I was like, oh, well, keep
Yeah.
on watching it. It was cute. It was really good.
Yeah.
It was really
The
good.
scene,
Yeah.
the scene in the oof, I can still feel it almost. The scene in the paintball
Brutal.
match.
There's a lot of fun in this show, and then there's a couple of things where you're like,
Oh fuck!
I'm not. This isn't as fun as it was.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets real.
But then it gets fun again.
And then it gets fun again.
Yeah.
And one of the most fun parts is they all seem like likely candidates to have killed this guy.
Yeah.
So who did it? And then they're talking about like, hey, we should do this together. And they try a few times and
Yeah.
they fail. And it's very cool.
I think my only problem with the show is that the writing of the guy who is dead, who everyone wants to kill, is completely irredeemable. He has written one note. Anytime there is a decision that is a human decision or a shitheel decision, always this decision. There's never a reason to be like, oh, that's why the sister fell in love with him and married him to begin with. There's never.
I think
a hint
he's
of
just
humanity.
always been a manipulative guy because he's one of these guys who seems like he attends church.
Yeah.
They paint him as one of those very false good guys kind of guys. He also was Dracula in the Stephen Moffat Dracula, which I didn't see and didn't hear anything good about.
It was fun.
Was it?
It was a lot of
cool. Fun. Okay, cool.
All right. Did we all the runners up?
The numbers
The
one.
numbers one.
Here they are.
Start us.
Sandman.
Sandman.
Oh, I loved it.
The
right?
Sandman?
The Sandman.
No, I think it was.
No, I think it's just Sandman actually, but he is the Sandman. This is as far as adaptations go.
No, it's the Sandman.
It's the Sandman.
Thank you. I
I
didn't even finish the goddamn show, and I knew that. No, I'm just kidding.
What's at the beginning of every episode?
Yeah, you saw the title more. You should know the whole title.
I should.
No, not on Netflix. It skips it.
Yes.
It's not. Yeah, it's not.
There are a lot of people that work on these shows.
I don't
skip
even
the
remember
credits, guys.
Continue,
there
Brian.
being one. So anyway, Sandman is one of my favorite comics, my favorite stories. It's so layered and non-linear, and there's so much of what's cool about it is not Morpheus. It's like little side tales. So a lot of times it's like, how would you ever adapt this, right? Into a TV show is how you adapt it. Two of the side stories in the comics are combined into a single episode in this one, and it's one of the best episodes, the one where we meet Death really for the first time and Hob. As an adaptation, there is hardly a note that isn't exactly as close as I would imagine something that isn't a comic to be to this comic, right? This man playing Morpheus is like,
he looks like
he's Morpheus played by a human actor.
Yes.
Like this is as close as you could get. You know what I mean? He's not drawn.
I will agree with that.
And that's the
yes.
difference.
I almost wonder if they CG'd his face a
I
little bit.
know.
He looks
right?
a little
So
thinner sometimes than you might
chiseled.
be. You know what I mean? Right. And it's possible, and if they did, then great.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill is in it briefly.
Mhm.
He plays Merv Pumpkinhead.
Yeah.
Oh, of
Yes.
course.
Yeah. It's just everything about it. Almost everything about it is phenomenal.
It feels to me like Sin City.
Yeah.
In that how amazingly adapted it is.
Yes.
And keeping the feel of the property.
It's
And
the
Watchmen,
feel of it.
but with heart.
Yes. Yeah. It's like Christopher Reeve as Superman. You know, like this is what you think of when you think of Sandman, the atmosphere. How could they have nailed it like this? Level. So good. I can't recommend it highly enough. Watch the whole thing nonstop, 2 days.
Did you? I was just gonna say, I feel like it's a show that you don't binge.
Oh,
I
I
think
binge.
I had more time over 2 weeks with it.
Yeah.
I
took more time.
I wouldn't.
I
I
did.
wouldn't come down on that approach, but I was like, I gotta watch this.
You got
I am-
Big Sam
you know.
Hanks as Jen.
I am still
Yeah.
in the middle of my watch.
Yeah. That is a beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful series. I
Yeah.
really it speaks to how well is adapted, because Neil Gaiman is
'Cause
directly
he's like the main
involved
guy.
in it.
Yeah.
He like almost like the showrunner.
He's also
Yeah.
not precious.
Well,
Yeah,
he's not.
He's not precious.
He's not. But he's also, you're starting with beautiful source material.
Yeah.
you know?
So Neil Gaiman is the perfect creator to be so involved with his own adaptations because he inherently understands that on the page is different than on the screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
a comic script is different than a film script.
There
Like,
are things that are different that he changed that
The-
work better,
the
like in the
format,
bonus
the medium
episode.
is completely different. So
Yeah.
you can be true to, but like I think something like The Watchmen, it's like almost dangerously close to just being too slavish to the original material
Yeah.
to the point where it has no heart,
No
it has
heart,
no
no
soul.
heart.
It's just an exercise in samesies.
And then they changed the coolest part of it.
You know,
I like the
change.
new. I like that.
I like
better,
the change
actually.
too.
Yeah.
That's the one. That change made sense to me. Watchmen feels like the remake of Psycho. That was a shot for shot.
Yeah, I can
Like,
see that.
Look how I pulled this
I
off.
can do it.
Yeah, cool.
Why?
And hey,
Yeah,
good
like
job.
the guys making the Indiana Jones remake.
I very much
I
I very much want to finish Sandman. We loved the 3 episodes we saw.
It's
It's so
amazing.
good. I've seen it twice now because my girlfriend was interested, and I was like, oh, let's watch it. I've seen it twice now. I love it.
And having never read the book,
Yeah.
there is one story in there that had me on the tip top of pins and needles.
Yeah,
as
what?
I was watching
the
it.
Diner?
Yeah,
Oh.
no, it wasn't the diner.
What was
It
it?
wasn't the diner. It's him with the when he's picked up after he leaves the hospital. After
The bonus.
no,
Wait,
it's not the
no.
bonus.
After
That's the diner.
No, it's not the diner. It's not the diner.
The guy
It's
picked
when
up-
when he's with the woman in the car.
with
When they're in the car, yeah.
the
Oh,
woman
on
in the
way
car.
to the diner.
I am.
Yes.
Are they?
They are.
Yeah,
on
but
the
the
way.
diner is think is a whole episode.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where he
Yes,
goes.
you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
The
it's like
convenience store.
right. I am on pins and needles that entire episode, and then after watching the entire series, to learn that run totally counter to
Yes.
how it ran in the books. I was like,
Yes.
oh my god,
That he did that on purpose because it doesn't affect the larger story, but he wanted something that diehard Sandman fans still wouldn't know that it turned out that way.
Exactly.
I was
Speaking of
surprised.
adapting things. Yeah, very cool. Very cool to do.
Cool.
And he even he's Dr. Destiny
Yes,
from
yes.
the Justice League. So there's actually a lot of stuff that was removed from this. Martian Manhunter shows up in volume 1,
Yes.
and it really seems like he's going to be part of the superhero universe. All that stuff was removed, and you lose nothing. It's more pure Sandman because he's already figured out who Sandman is.
Yeah.
And I
you know.
loved, real quick, and then I know we'll move on. And I don't know if this is part of the comic, but I loved how they still worked in Jack Kirby's Sandman.
Yes,
The
that is part of the
superhero-
comic.
like the second
Yes.
superhero Sandman.
It's Hector Hall in the comic.
So
that has
I
been-
love
Yes.
the totally way they
Yeah.
reworked it for this.
Because that's
Beautiful.
that thing is part of volume 2, and so that's
Mm.
part of the merging, the really artfully done merging of those two stories that feel like one, and it's great.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah, thank you.
More episodes are coming, but Netflix was quick to label it as more episodes, not season 2.
Oh,
No,
interesting.
I thought they did then greenlit season 2.
No, they did. So they released a bonus episode that was
That's right.
Calliope and Dream of a Thousand
No,
Cats.
I know that, but then fairly recently, I thought I saw.
It did.
No, it did.
get picked up.
It is
got picked
renewed,
up.
No, I'm
but
wondering if
Netflix
this
statement
means-
is more episodes.
Oh, so not to say they don't want to say season.
So they might do batches. And
Gotcha.
if you read the comic, you might. There's reasons.
And
that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
or it could be that there's another bun. It's probably not, but yeah.
Our Moon is in the chat saying Primal finished, which is the
Gendy
Tartakovsky
Yes.
animated series.
Samurai
which
of
is
Samurai Jack fame.
masterful cartooning.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
heard that's
He's
great.
very
I
good.
want to check that out.
I want to one thing to add for Sandman.
Yeah.
Because it takes so long to produce that show. Like that first season took like 3 years
Oh,
yeah.
really?
to film, and
Yeah.
it
Because he
took
wanted to get it
forever.
right.
Yeah, he got it
They
right.
had to start that.
I genuinely yeah.
2 years of it was
he
that.
had to lose a whole other person. The second season finally got renewed. It's going to be a while, and it reduces the impetus or like speed in which I have to adjust it
Sure.
because I know that it's not going to be till like 2024, like the middle of 2024 probably.
All
You know
right.
what I wish would happen? I'm sorry, it's so off topic. I wish they would redo a Lucifer show with Gwendolyn Christie
Exclusive.
doing the Lucifer stuff.
That would be interesting.
He hates it.
I
That's
don't.
his
She
nice way of
was.
saying he hates it.
She was. I really am still open to really loving her interpretation of Lucifer. She was the one part of the show that I was like, oh, that's not how I envisioned Lucifer speaking, or you know what I mean. There's still room for
Well, I
it
don't
to
think-
be.
Was the Lucifer in the television show?
Not at all.
The Lucifer.
Oh no,
universe?
and I didn't watch that for a while because of that. My mom was really into it. I saw him in Crisis on. I loved it
Oh, was it good?
But
Was it terrible?
as something completely different. it's one of those adaptations that it's like you're hurting me because I have to tell people they just share the same names.
Yeah.
That's it. But no, there's still a lot of room for Gwendolyn Christie. Lucifer's got some cool stuff coming up, and we'll see what happens.
Being released currently is the
Could be good.
Sandman audiobook, which is straight adaptation with DC characters. So on what's it on Audible? It's on Audible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very cool. It says Our Moon in the chat.
And let me tell you also, I didn't think she was bad. I just want to get that out.
Sure.
there.
I thought she was
Yeah.
awesome. Who's up?
I thought she was
Anyone.
fine.
Anyone else?
Yeah, she wasn't
What about
as
you,
nailed it.
Yeah, how about you,
For
Jay?
my favorite?
You go. You go.
Your
My
favorite.
favorite, what was it? Oh, it was Ozark season 4.
Oh, the final season?
Yes.
The final, yeah. Man, this Ozark is one of my all-time favorite thrillers, I guess it is. I don't even know what that is. It's hard to describe, but it is awesome. So it was between Ozark and Bad Sisters for my favorite show of 2022. And I have to say, once it occurred to me, the thing that put Ozark over the edge by a mile was Laura Linney.
Oh God, I
In
love something.
Her character from season 1 to the end of the show is a masterclass in acting. She is so good in this show. I can't praise her enough, especially since I remember seeing her in the Truman Show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, who's this lady? Why do I care about this lady? She was good in it, but like her acting in this show is wonderful. Highly recommend this show.
She's always good.
It is very dark.
Yes.
It's not a feel-good movie.
Jason
show.
Bateman is the
Jason
main guy,
Bateman,
right?
yeah.
That's
Jason
his,
Bateman
that's
and
his
Laura Linney.
creation.
Yeah, as the family. And he basically does stuff for the mob, winds up getting the cartel, I guess, winds up almost getting murdered because his partner was skimming.
Oh.
And he, on his hands and knees with a gun to his head and tears down his face, remembers a pamphlet that he has in his back pocket about the Ozarks.
Okay.
And he convinces the head of the
Cartel.
No. The plan is to go down to the Ozarks and do A, B, and C, and we're going to triple your money. And that's what's going on. And so it's like, oh, okay, you've got a certain amount of time to, what are they doing? Washing money.
Laundering
money. Yeah.
To launder this amount of money, which is an impossible amount of money, by this date.
Yeah. Then
or I'm going to come kill you and your family.
And the dominoes just start right there.
Is he one of those guys who's like, he's a good guy who didn't realize what he was getting into, or is he just like guy that works for the mob?
He knew he was working for the cartel.
Okay,
yeah. He's not a scumbag.
Right.
But he's not.
I would say that his wife starts off better.
Okay. Yeah.
And then becomes Lady Macbeth by the end.
Well, though in season 4, it is revealed she knew the whole time.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
She essentially convinces.
That's true. Oh, what's up?
Newbies here.
I haven't seen
It has
it.
nothing to do with the.
It doesn't spoil much.
Yeah. That's just like.
I know, because the Slash Filmcast talks about it, and I want to say some of them hate it with a burning passion. Is it David Chen? I think maybe hates it.
I have no idea.
But yeah, they're always going back and forth. But I highly recommend Ozark seasons 1 through 4. Awesome.
Nice.
No, go.
Oh, I mean, 2022 is the year of Andor.
It did come out. Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
It was the best thing. It was the best thing on television that I watched.
It was a good show.
It I heard that. I heard that. It was an impressive slow burn. It was doing something with recognized IP that was not the same, and I loved every second of it.
I loved every second of it after the 3rd episode.
I think the acting was on. I liked it from the start.
Me too. Yeah, you guys weren't. You're like, or maybe I guess it was just you. It was like you gotta get past the 3rd episode. And
The
I was
acting
in
was
from,
on point. The writing was on point.
Yeah.
The set design, the worlds they go to, the way the show was structured in 3 episode arcs.
Yeah,
and they all built on each other, and the way that it kind of all crescendoed at the end on Ferrix, the
something
planet.
like that. Yeah.
It was like reading a amazing novel.
Yeah. And it was good sci-fi, even if it wasn't in the Star Wars universe. It was cool.
Yeah, it did not have to be Star Wars for it
Yeah.
to be as good, but because it was within Star Wars, it built everything else up around it.
Yeah, you got that other stuff.
You know know what's weird about this show is that I wasn't as interested in, because I also didn't care about him as a kid. I didn't care about those scenes about them, crashing ship and everything. My favorite parts of it were the in-depth look at middle management in the Empire and the little stabby games they were playing with each other.
Yeah, the manifesto at the end, that kid's manifesto.
Yes.
Also, I appreciate the show for not thinking I'm stupid. There are many choices the show makes that you have to do a little work for. Like, he's listening to the manifesto from 5 episodes before the character that died. And they don't tell you that. They don't explain that.
Yeah.
It just is.
My favorite example of that is the conversation that happens with the senator in the back of her car with her husband.
Yeah. It's still like,
I don't want to spoil anything.
That conversation is meant to circumvent a problem from 4 episodes ago.
It's cool.
And they don't explain it. It is a very mature, intricate spy drama, and it's so good.
I wish that the Marvel TV shows looked and felt like this does.
Yeah.
Maybe not pacing wise, a little sleepy for me in the beginning, but it does feel like a novel. It just took me a couple chapters to get into it. I feel like things like Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, the budget doesn't look like it's on the screen.
Yeah.
Whereas Andor, the budget's on the screen. You see it.
It's more consistent. But what I was saying before,
Same with She-Hulk.
Shit.
Sorry.
I lost my thought altogether. Oh, wait, to your point, the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
The manifesto at the end, which could be a think piece for all of Star Wars.
Sure.
Was that fascism is difficult to maintain. It requires many, many hands.
Yeah.
And it could be dismantled with many little cracks. So the idea of a resistance being born out of the fact that fascism is difficult. And this is the first time you get to see how fucking difficult it is when you put a bunch of vipers in a room.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it retroactively makes other Star Wars better.
Yeah.
Can I
to
go
that
back to a comment you just had a second ago?
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Yeah.
25 million per episode.
Yeah.
Andor, 15 million.
Wow.
That's
That's
because it was
insane.
But that's like
there's a lot more CGI
Tony
of
Gilroy.
the main character.
I was going to say Tony Gilroy explicitly didn't want to use the massive, which was that, like what Boba Fett uses and
the
big
Mandalorian.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They explicitly wanted to use like real locations, real sets, only digitally painted stuff that was already there. So it was a cheaper show to pull off, but it looked better because it was. But so
She-Hulk was all CG.
They were able to pull it off though because there's a 2-season airtight plan for all of Andor.
Right.
It's not open ended.
Right.
It's not. Maybe we'll see what happens. It's literally all paced out already.
Speaking to your,
it's a little easier.
The point about seeing the middle management and all of that stuff. One of the things that I thought this did well and better than any Star Wars is the Empire is evil.
Yeah.
They are bad. They arrest people to get them to work in their prisons for little to no reason. In the other Star Wars, it's like, hey, the Empire's bad. They're called the Empire. They're run by.
They have a thing called the Death Star.
Right.
Well, it's every other version of the story is usually just proxy figureheads.
Yes.
It's the Luke Skywalker and the Darth Vader. They are both good and bad, but they are just proxies for this other thing. The Resistance is good. You're good.
Well,
the Empire is bad. It's bad.
I think that the thing that this brings to light that they also showed us in Rogue One is that the rebellion is also kind of bad.
No.
There's that whole conversation going back and forth about we have a whole faction of the rebellion.
Yeah.
And we're just going to sacrifice them to the Empire
We have to
certain death.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're going to lose this one thing that we need.
Which also happened in World War II. In Winston Churchill,
the
code, right? He had knowledge that the Germans were going to bomb these towns. He could have saved these people, but if he did, they would know that he knew.
Codes,
Which after that decision in Andor, Stellan Skarsgård has that amazing fucking speech.
Oh, yes.
About
Great
what
speech.
he sacrifices.
Yeah.
In this war,
Fueling a lot of theories about that character, which seem cool.
I don't
That's
think.
I attribute
who
a
knows?
lot of that to Tony Gilroy. I mean, that dude set out to tell a serious story twice in the same universe, and it was going to be gritty and dirty. And both of those movies, when you look at them, they are gritty and dirty looking movies. Beautiful,
Yeah.
dirty movies.
I heard it compared to Blade Runner aesthetically, and I don't disagree. I'll tell you what, they're in a prison for a couple of episodes.
My favorite episodes.
And I was like, they're in the prison, and I'm like, all right, how long is this going to be? Then I see the title cards for the next one, and I'm like, they're still in the prison? Those episodes were awesome.
Yeah,
My,
that's the ones that got me into the show.
I gotta
really?
tell you,
Yeah.
we still in my home, we still do on program, off program.
On program.
That's awesome.
You're on a very strict
like
house.
yeah, we did. Like when the cats are doing something stupid, it's just like on program.
That's how he tells him we're getting in bed.
Yeah, off program. Yes.
Len,
Yes.
favorite?
What you have
Andor?
listed there is actually not my favorite. It's just the first one I told you. My favorite would
Interesting.
be Atlanta.
Why would you give me the order out of order?
Because I was just giving.
That's fair.
Graphics.
Atlanta.
Atlanta's amazing. Tell us more.
Atlanta is amazing. It is Donald Glover's masterpiece.
Mm.
It is a masterpiece. It is a four season like study of these four friends in Atlanta.
Hot Atlanta.
Their lives, how they mature with one another. They start in one place in season 1. They end a totally different place by the end of season 4. In amongst interspersed as you look in their life, going through hip hop and relationships and things of that nature, you learn a little bit about every one of them, except one character who just kind of like strangely walks throughout this universe. The character played by Lakeith Stanfield.
Yeah, man.
And it is not until the
So
final
good.
episode that you get a really true glimpse into his world and to the reason why he is the way that he is. And it makes so much sense.
I thought I just recently watched an episode that involves children. It's a flashback to children, and the kid leaves his home and he winds up getting adopted. And
Yes.
And I thought, oh, this is Lakeith Stanfield's character. Nope.
Nope. Just a totally separate, like,
That
because
was based on a true story.
based on a true story.
God damn it.
Interesting.
Horrible.
And along the way of
So
this
good.
series, it does kind of like sometimes skip to like these side stories. Almost comes like a little bit of an anthology.
Yeah.
Especially like in season 3, which was done in the height of pandemic.
And that's the season I'm watching now where they're overseas.
Yeah.
Great.
But it's just masterful storytelling. It's funny, it's dramatic, it's touching, it's thoughtful, and it is easily one of the best things that I watched for 2022. And I was having a conversation with someone who I think that this may be ultimately for Black people, Seinfeld. A show that you will return to and you will always still pull something.
You've said this before, you must have, right?
Yeah.
Because I was going to say Seinfeld.
Yeah.
There's no reason for me to say that.
It's a great show.
You said it gets sort of surreal, right?
Oh, it gets very
Yeah.
surreal.
Okay. Cool.
It's
I'm in.
very
I'm into
very
that.
surreal.
Yeah.
But it's still dope.
It's also one of the
Wait,
most
what?
intelligent shows I've seen.
Easily.
It's so good.
Cool.
He's got so much to say.
Yeah.
Cool.
And thinking that he wrote pretty much every episode.
Did he?
Oh, really?
He's got a writer's room?
Like, no, he either writes or co-wrote every
That's
episode.
cool.
And I think every episode is pretty much, if not every episode, at least
Are you-
90% of them are directed by the same person.
That's crazy hard. Like, are you
interesting.
sure there's not at least just a writer's room and he gets?
If he has
because-
a writer's room and gets the main credit, perhaps.
What
but-
if he's a writer's room in a trench coat?
So
You know,
He'd
there's an
have to be
episode
very
where he
tall.
makes some fun about Tyler Perry and his supposed writer's room.
well, I think of like South Park. They have a writer's room, but the credit for each episode actually goes to Trey Parker and Matt Stone because they do all the writing.
Yes, but
But,
then
like, they
if you
got,
look,
like, a
Yeah,
pitch
but
but
room.
if you look at the
Yeah.
credits, you will still see all of their writers listed.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of writers listed on.
That's dope.
on-
That is
on
really
Netflix.
cool, yeah.
So good.
There was
And
all those
everything he
jokes,
touches.
going around because he is doing what, the Disco Hustler.
Yes,
So-
it's gonna be the
Hypno
Disco
Hustler?
Hustler.
Hypno Hustler.
Hypno Hustler. Hypno
And-
Hustler.
What is
yeah.
that? That sounds
For-
fun.
He's
For
a Marvel
Marvel,
character.
he's a Marvel villain.
Whatever the hell he wants to do.
I think it's a Marvel Sony, John.
Yeah,
Or is it-
it's Marvel Sony. Him and his brother were gonna do like a Deadpool animated show,
Yeah.
and
I
Marvel,
right.
can't believe that didn't get picked up.
Yeah.
it did, but then Marvel was like, no,
No.
It's too much.
Yeah.
what you're planning is not what we have in mind for the
Oh,
character.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
Which would have
Especially
been
in
probably
animation.
on point. For the
It probably
character.
would have been on point. Also,
Probably.
too, that was what 5 to
Yeah, a while
7
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today they'd probably be like, yeah, we can have 4 different versions
Do
of
it,
the
yeah.
character. Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
I think it was also pre-merger.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Also, I just watched they released a little clip of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, the new animated series that's coming, and it's got a Childish Gambino joint on it. It's
Oh,
pretty
cool.
good. Yeah.
Diggity dope.
Who hasn't gone? Anybody?
That's everybody.
That's everybody.
We did it. Hey,
Yes.
what
I'll
was
go
your
real quick.
favorite episode?
Lens. The thing it says was his favorite was actually mine.
Oh, is that right?
The
The Bear.
Oh,
Cool.
I
Terry,
watched
was
some of it.
just,
what was your favorite thing of the year? TV show. The Bear.
favorite TV show was The Bear. I've never seen a show shot like that ever. So cinematography alone, I've never seen a kitchen look like that. It was dirty yet clean. It was just a tough show.
It was.
I've never
It's
seen editing
aggressive.
like that on a recent program. That is the fastest editing, and it's the editing that makes you feel like you're in a kitchen that is behind.
Having
It's
been
a
in several
stressful
kitchens,
show to watch.
it's pretty good.
Which is fun for people who don't work in kitchens.
Right.
Everyone who has worked in a kitchen, it's
You
a
know it.
nightmare.
Right.
Dude, that first episode, we watched like 2 or 3 episodes. It's wonderful. But that first episode, I was watching it with my wife Sam, and she, every single time they had knives, she was like, "He's gonna cut himself. He's gonna cut himself." And I'm like, I think on a lesser show, yes, he cuts himself. It's tension, great. They're trying to show you how good these people are, what they're doing, that they could do it while having a conversation and while doing this and while like, it's just to show you
It's
how
muscle memory.
awesome they are, not not.
There's somebody who has buddies that still work in kitchens to this day. The quart of water and cigarette in the back alley.
It's
You
real.
would not see that on.
Yeah.
I think it was one of those like, thank God it was on Hulu.
Yeah.
Thank God they took a chance. It's like, no, show it how it is.
Yeah.
They're smoking butts
Yeah.
and they're talking shit.
Yeah.
And everyone's mad. And you're literally punching each other, literal fist fights, and then you're back there smoking a cigarette after. It was just nice to see realness. That was a real kitchen. It seemed lived in. There were real issues of, depression and
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like there was some heavy shit in there, and it was just treated well. But that cutting is so fast and so perfect. And there's a oneer in there. There's a long shot episode.
Yo,
is it?
yeah,
Which is
near
impossible.
the
Like
end.
episode 5
Yeah.
or 6 or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, it is a very good show. Very cool.
I gotta finish it.
Like Atlanta, I need to catch up on.
And I got a thing for like just a lady in the kitchen who's worked there a while. It's like, who
Yeah.
the fuck is this new person talking to me?
Mhm.
That's a
Mhm.
person. That's a real person.
Well, I like that because not everybody gets along, yet they still have to work. You know what I mean? And even when somebody tries to call somebody out on this shit, it's like you call them, but all right, we still got to get the job done.
It's like we
Yeah.
had
It's
like
real life.
2 fist fights before we started live tonight.
The
But here
whole-
we are, being cool.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know.
that whole
Unless you
dynamic
fucking
though,
say
is-
something.
that whole dynamic is the first episode
Mhm.
when I forget the main character's name.
Bear.
What's his nickname?
I thought they were all
When-
called Bear.
When Baby Bear does the bread differently
Right.
and does the beef differently, and it's just contention. His cousin finally fucking eats it, and he's just like, "God damn it, this is fucking great."
Mhm.
And it's just
I really
it's
wanted
like
to eat that sandwich.
I mean,
wanted to eat so much
Chicago
of
beefs,
food.
Chicago beefs. Are
Solid
just,
Chicago dirtbags.
yeah.
Solid Chicago.
They are
His
North
cousin-
Side
they're a
dirtbags.
It's just 'cause
Yeah.
His cousin is such a prick. He's so hard for me to watch because I'm just like,
Actually,
dude,
yes.
just shut up.
North Side of Chicago is essentially South Philly.
Anything else? That's it. Are we done?
I think we are.
That's
We
it.
did it. All right.
It was a good
Thank you,
year.
everyone. Thank you for joining us for this past year. It has been amazing. I'm very excited about our new studio space. Thank you, Terry and Maniac Studios, for housing us
Yes.
and keeping us moving. You can help us out by going to patreon.com/JohnnyDestructo. I just started a sticker club tier, $6 a month. Every month I will draw and mail you a brand new sticker. The voting on what the stickers are going to be just closed, so that's already been decided. But
What is it?
there was 12 of them. I'm not going to list all 12.
Well, what
List 11 of them.
That's the one I won.
Okay, no, forget it. It's fine.
Let
He
me
doesn't
bring
know
it
off
up.
the top
One
of
of,
his head.
just name one of
Doesn't
them.
know off the top of his head. It's fine. What are we doing now?
Well, I'll tell you.
Closing the show.
Spaceballs is up there. Heathers is up there. RoboCop, Big Trouble in Little China, Fight Club, Beetlejuice, Addams Family, Big Hero 6, Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Huh?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh, I
But
love that
it's-
movie.
It's
One of my all-time favorites.
you said it was a survey,
There was a poll that is closed.
and those
That's
Those
the
are
results.
one.
Those are all ones that you will be getting, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So if you want to go to patreon.com, Johnny Destructo and sign up for the sticker club tier.
Indeed.
It would be awesome, and you'll get some stickers out of it. I got like 5 new patrons because
Oh,
of the
very
sticker
cool.
club. Very exciting.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next week, where can the people find you, Brian?
I'm at brianliebdesign.com. JD, is there a like a Hulk omnibus that you have?
Freaking yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Brian.
welcome.
So Peter David is really under the weather. What was it? Multiple strokes and a heart attack?
Really? Is that-
So
Yeah.
he has a GoFundMe up right now. We because of Anthony Drago, it was his idea, longtime listener, friend of the show. He bought the Incredible Hulk Peter David Omnibus Volume 1. We are raffling it off. It's out of print. $5 a ticket. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com, and I will let you know the details there. Where can we find you, Brian?
Noelthewriter.com and/or on Twitter at Mr. Bartocci, BARTOCCI.
Len.
Hit me up on Instagram at BatTribble. What's up?
Thanks, guys. We love you, and we will talk to you next Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live on YouTube and where else?
Wherever you
Twitch
listen to Boss.
and Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love you. Mwah. Go get some sleep.
That's